darkness, my old friend.
What did you do? What did you do?
What is up, everybody? Happy, Thursday? Wednesday? I don't know. My fucking days bleed together. Happy Wednesday. We are here to talk about Dexter New Blood, the entire season, the whole good, bad, and the ugly of these 10 episodes. Joining me, as per usual, is CP from Willis Credia. CP.
Hi, guys. Hi,
How's it
how are
going?
you? Motherfucker keeps it's like a race. We're neck and neck with the editing shit, and that was pretty fucking good, asshole.
We got to have that. Me and you got to always have that comedy dick swinging contest. It's like, who can have the best joke? Fuck, that was pretty good. I got to go back to the drawing board.
The fucking Pet Cemetery thing.
Yeah. At first, it was Tommy Boy. It was, what'd you do? And then I was like, wait, there's a better version of this. And I went and found it. It is Thursday, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yes, it is.
Everybody
Thursday.
wish Cody a happy birthday.
Jesus. Thank you. Yes, I turned 32 yesterday. Yeah,
Yeah.
doing this full-time YouTube shit, man. Monday through Friday is just one day. It's just it's Groundhog Day until Saturday when my kids are there.
Emily says happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily.
Watch Die Hard for my present.
He says watch Die Hard for his present. And no laughing. No laughing whatsoever.
I'll burst. Alright, maybe. I'll try.
I'll try.
I'll try. There is no try. Anyway, guys, so yes, I've been covering Dexter New Blood episode by episode all the way throughout. Just before Dexter New Blood started, I was reviewing all of the individual seasons of the first 8-season run of the show. So I've been talking about Dexter for most of, the year of last year with a little break in between. And I've gotten a lot of people that have watched my finale review. I was not happy with the finale whatsoever. And I did not know when I uploaded that video whether or not I was going to be in the minority, in the majority, if it was going to be 50-50. But it seems like at least the loudest portion of the fan base is not happy with this. But me and CP have different histories with Dexter. We had very different expectations walking into Dexter New Blood. And then somehow wound up with the same exact last
we
episode,
finished
so.
at the same spot.
Yeah, exactly. So we came back around and met in the middle. So we're going to start off talking about how we got into the show. So CP, did you start watching Dexter when it actually started on Showtime, or did you become a fan later? Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember what the teaser trailer was or whatever, but this is back when people watched TV on TV back in the 2000s. So there was some sort of thing like because my wife at the time really liked like fucking procedural dramas like CSI and shit like that, and I liked horror movies. And so their big gimmick was, this is like NCIS, except you're following the killer. And I was like, oh, all right, I'm down. And it's on Showtime. Hey, there's a pair of tits. I can watch this. This is quite all right. And it was something different, because if you watch all of those like NCIS, all those like, regular TV fucking cop dramas.
Wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, there's no like story to it. It's just like, all right, here's a dead body this week. Next, on to the next week, then whatever. But this was a like a through line. There was a story, and it was trying to figure out. It was one big case, not a case per week. It was all right. This guy's draining blood from bodies and whatever the fuck, and like the second the ending, well, maybe not the ending, in the last 2 episodes or so, when they gave that twist, I was like, oh, all right. They're not fucking around here. This is pretty good. This is pretty
Mhm.
good. That um, it's a much better show. It has a lot more to say, and it was gory. Like it was all the
Mhm.
boxes checked. It was a good story. It had a through line. It was linear storytelling. Um, Tits always a plus, and it felt like you had something to invest. Like on those other shows, if you miss 2 weeks, you don't miss anything. You just
Yeah.
whatever. But if you miss 2 weeks on a show like this, you're like, wait, what happened? Who's that guy? What is this?
They're brothers. What the fuck?
Exactly.
Yeah, I had heard about Dexter when I was in college, and I remember somebody just mentioned it in passing, and they were like, "Yeah, Dexter," and I was just like, "Never heard of that." And he's like, "Oh, he's like a serial killer who kills other killers," and I was like,
Yeah.
"That sounds interesting," and then I just kind of
Mhm.
forgot about it. And so, a little more than a year later, after I had dropped out and moved back home, I was working at a skating rink arcade, and I just needed something to watch. And I remember I was just sitting there, and this is back when I used to utilize my uncle as well. And I was like, "Oh yeah," like I just heard that voice in my head of that guy, kind of like, "Yeah, he's a serial killer that kills killer." And I was like, "Let me check that shit out. Who the hell
Mhm.
knows?" And so I downloaded the first season and watched it. By the time I was 3 episodes in, I was on Amazon buying the 3 Blu-rays that
Yeah.
were available for
Yeah.
season 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And this is one of 2 shows that, like, ignited my love for TV. The first one was Nip Tuck, when I watched it, and I was like,
Hmm.
"This is like nothing I've ever seen before on TV."
Yeah.
They're, like, fucking all the time and killing, and what is going on here? This is crazy. And then the same thing happened with Dexter, where I watched it, and I was just like, "This was way above any level of quality that I've ever seen on
Yeah.
TV," where I'm like, "Holy shit." And
Yeah.
I was an absolute addict. I mean, every single night after work, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah.
Dexter."
Yeah.
And
6
so
episodes. Nice.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So every night until I was done with season 3, it was just Dexter, 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 Dexter.
Yeah.
And I had started watching it just before season 4 started airing too. So it was
Oh,
like
what
the
a beautiful
perfect
way to
time.
get into it. Yeah.
Perfect time. And that was the season, of course, the first one that didn't end with a nice little neat bow. And you get to the end of it, and I'm like, what's gonna happen? Who's gonna take care of the kids?
I
And
gotta
so
wait 12 months now. What the shit?
yeah, this is bullshit. So from that moment forward, I was a Dexter fanatic, and this was before I had even started watching Breaking Bad, which now though a lot of is my favorite TV show of all time.
Mhm.
I'm an absolute like a cult member of Breaking Bad
Yeah.
at this point. And so Dexter to me was just like, this is the best. This is the best I've ever seen. This might be the best we ever see. I was such a fanatic. I was trying to get my parents to watch it. I was trying to tell everybody about it. I was seeking out people at work to talk about it. Nobody fucking watched it. And I was pretty happy with the show all the way until season 6. Like even season 5, I think is pretty damn close to the quality of the first 4 seasons. I just hated the way that it ended. I was like, that's a kind of a cop out way to finish this up. But season 6 was the first time where I went, not your best day at the office, Dexter. And I was one of those people that watched season 8 as it was airing, and they made the critical mistake of airing alongside the final season of Breaking Bad. So one week I would get
Oh.
an episode of Breaking Bad in the final season, and then by Sunday I would get an episode of Dexter, and it was just like 2 different worlds.
How on par were they running next to each other?
I think that I would have to go back, but they ended pretty close. I think
'Cause
Dexter might have ended a week or 2 afterwards, because Breaking Bad was
oh.
a smaller season because it was split in 2. So yeah, you got the Breaking Bad ending, and then like a week or 2 later, you got the Dexter ending. But so the only thing that made the blow a little softened when you watched season 8 was the whole season pretty much sucked. So you were
Yeah.
kind of prepared the whole time. You're like, this is not going
It was
good.
just
This is not going to end
snowballing.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
it was the
just
opposite
what?
effect that Dexter New Blood had, to where you're like, this is getting good. This is cool. Oh my
Mhm.
God, they might do it. What the fuck? And so season 8, I remember it ended, and I was just like, I wasn't angry about it. I was just like, that's kind of stupid. That's
Yeah.
a shame. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then it was always this asterisk you had to have when someone's like, what's a good show to watch? You're like, watch Deck.
Mhm.
Watch the first 4 seasons.
Yeah.
If you love it, keep going, but just know you're not going to be happy by the end. Just walk in with that. Like, you always had to have that asterisk. You couldn't just say like, "Oh, watch Breaking Bad," and then you just leave it there. And I remember me and Mother Mayhem were planning to do our Dexter review series, and we had just released our videos for season 1. And I don't even think it was a day later. It was the most impeccable timing ever. It was like a day or 2 later. They announced that Dexter was coming back for a 10-episode revival. And I swear,
awesome.
we felt like we were the reason that it happened.
Yeah.
Like,
We did it.
We willed it to happen. And I said this in my my spoiler review that I had absolutely no doubt in my mind that they were going to be like perfection. I was like, there's no way they're going to fuck it up. Like, they've learned. They've had years to write this. They've had years to plan this. There's no possible way that they're not going to deliver an awesome ending. Even if it's not the ending that they want, like, they know what they have to do. And so, getting into Dexter New Blood, the season premiere comes. I've been excited as hell. And it finally comes on. And the first episode, I was like, he's back. Like as soon as it got to the point where he killed the guy and you hear the voice for the first time, "Hello, Dexter Morgan," I was like, it's back. Yeah. Oh my God. And I had a bit of a journey throughout the season, just to kind of give my overall thoughts, and we'll kind of start to go plot by plot or person by person. I kind of had a bit of a rocky road this season, to where I was always enjoying it. There was never a point where I thought it was going downhill. There was never a point where it was like season 8 or anything, but it was just the first half or so of the season felt like it was taking a long time to get going. And I was getting worried. I had anxiety as a Dexter fan, because I was like, we've only got 5 more episodes forever. Because they were pitched this like this was it. And then towards the end, they were like a little coy about it, like maybe not. And I don't know if they were waiting to see what the ratings were or what, or if they were just fucking with everybody so people would
the
not know
fact
what
that
to
they
expect.
never announced that it was over or canceled or they were wrapping it up, that was like, interesting.
Yeah. It was weird, and it was starting to frustrate me, because I'm like, I didn't know how to accept the second half of the season. Because once things started going and everything, and things were starting to like get somewhat be rushed in a way, but never really feeling like a sense of finality. Never really felt like it was actually heading towards an end. If anything, it felt like a new beginning, to where I was watching it and I'm like, you guys said this was just a 10-episode like re-ending, but you feel like you're ramping up for something else. And it just, I didn't know I didn't know how to watch it, because I'm like, is this season 1 of Dexter New Blood, or is this season 9 of Dexter? And it never felt until the last episode like it was actually heading towards an end. And so all throughout the season, there was things that I was liking, there was things that I was disliking. I was mixed on pretty much all of the characters aside from Dexter and Kurt Caldwell, and even him I was mixed to a certain degree on. And so by the end of it, I was on this little teetering edge, to where I'm like, okay, this is a good season of Dexter, but there's a lot of things that got us here that I'm a little bit wonky on. So it's all going to ride on this finale. If the finale is amazing, it's going to tip the scales, and all the things that I was a little iffy on, I'll probably be able to forgive, and I'll like the season a lot more as a whole. But if it sucks, it's going to tip the other way, and everything that bothered me throughout the season is now going to stand out a lot more and be a bigger issue for me. And man, the last 15 minutes of that episode just crushed my fucking dreams, crushed my heart. Or I was watching it and I was just like, holy crap, they might actually pull this off. Like everything up to the point where he's in the jail cell, I was like, they're actually pulling this off. This is cool. I'm okay with this. And then we got that ending. So what was your kind of overall emotional ride throughout these 10 episodes?
Oh, like you said,
I know you were not excited for it. I know that much.
No, I was like, no. Last time we saw this fucking guy, he took his dead sister out of a hospital during a catastrophic hurricane and brought his boat out like you do during hurricanes, and that was it. It was like a cartoony way to fucking like. All right, so you managed to escape with your boat getting destroyed. how did you get out of the hurricane, buddy? Because you were right in the middle of the ocean. I just thought it was a joke. Like, I was just like, really? Now he's a lumberjack? Like, fucking whatever. So I had less than zero expectations. And then for episode 1, I mean, I was there on day 1. Like, I had nothing invested, but I was there. I was there ready to watch it. And the first episode, like you said, it was like, all right, getting back to Dexter a little bit. We're taking our time. He likes looking at White Buck now, and okay, he's back to doing the donuts for the coworkers thing. Can we, is this just a museum, a live action museum to the character that is Dexter, or what? And it felt like it was like the first episode. You could have sped that up a little bit. Yeah, like 45 minutes of that first episode could have been 15. But I get it. They were trying to get us settled in. If it were a 3, 4, 5 season thing, I could understand taking that much time to letting us settle into the character
exactly.
again. But this is 10% of the story, and you're just dicking around with this guy running around in the forest looking at fucking White Buck and all this other like slow moving shit. Like, oh, okay, yeah, he goes to line dancing and all this other shit. Yeah, okay, the town knows him. It's a small town. His name's Jim. What the fuck? Oh, he gets pulled over, but he's actually banging the sheriff. Cool. You could have done that.
Oh, she's the chief of police. I got corrected on that in my comments. Don't say sheriff. It's going to totally fuck up your point. Really quick before you continue, we had a super chat that I skipped over. Sean Reynolds. So the Trinity cameo was a bust, huh? The fact that they advertised it beforehand, they got everybody excited. Yes. If he had just shown up for that one scene and we didn't expect anything, it was fine. But yeah, they advertised. That was like the second thing they advertised was that John Lithgow was coming back, and he literally had one line. And so,
and a close up, just like oh, okay, as a flashback night.
Continue on. He's the town knows him.
Well, postscript to that super chat. What do you think was a bigger bust, the Trinity cameo, or fucking what's his name? Fuck, Batista. His cameo is
I mean, Trinity is inconsequential to the plot. That was just a vision.
Flashback.
So that was a nice touch. The fact that they got him back just to add that extra little touch was cool. They just fucked up by hyping it up. Batista, we'll get into that, but both times that they included his character was a giant fail, in my opinion. Yeah,
and they contradicted him, which is hysterical, but yeah, like you said, we'll get to that. So, he's a man of the town, whatever. He's a upstanding citizen, and like it was nice every time they like teased that he was back to his old ways, like he sharpened a knife, but he was actually bringing it to the butcher or some shit like that. It was cute. It was like a nice
visual cues.
Yeah. It was the one thing if I really, really, really wish they could have done, give us him preparing breakfast. Give us that intro. It was the one thing I missed. Like, oh, no sloppy eating, and
missed a lot of those stylistic elements from the first show. Like, and it's funny because I was somebody that wanted it to be very different. I wanted them to be in a different setting, have a different tone, a different flow. I wanted it to feel very foreign to the first 8 seasons because they needed that. But after they did it, after a couple episodes, I was like, man, I missed that intro. I missed the music. I missed the quirky humor. I missed the style. I missed the way that it wasn't letterboxed, like it was all fucking forced cinematic. I missed the color. Like there was just so many things that they stylistically changed to make this one season so different that it just didn't feel like Dexter in so many ways that I would have been the one eating crow because I would have made the same decision. I'd have been like, we got to do it differently. And then after I saw it, I'd been like, fuck.
Although when they did comedy, it was like way too far. Like when they did the Fargo bit, when Jennifer Carpenter, when Deb, when they were talking about how to dispose of a body or some shit, and she's at the school putting the dude in the fucking wood chipper.
Doing the Fargo thing. I hated that.
I was like, really?
I hated
That
that, and I hated where there was like 19 of them, and they were like, "Yay, Dexter!" Like it was just
yeah.
so tonally like a Hail Mary for like 2
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah, like you're good at being dark humor. Don't be doofy humor. Be
Yeah.
dark humor. Like what? I mean, that's an absolute nitpick. But
Oh, for sure.
when Harrison shows up at the end of episode 1, I was like, all right, you have my attention. And Dexter saying you got the wrong guy, whatever. And then there's the picture of him in the desk, and you're like, you kind of fucked that one up, buddy. And it was intriguing. And slowly but surely, like you knew, because it was the first episode, you knew they were going to do something with Harrison. So that was the little seed that was planted, and I went from a 0 to a 1.5, and then
Oh wow, okay.
and then out of 10. And then slowly but surely, like if I were to gauge my anticipation and excitement from episodes 1 through 5, I probably went from like a 0 to a 4. But then from like 6 to 10, I was 10. I was in.
When
I was
shit
just
was
like,
actually happening.
yeah. I was like, oh man, they're gonna pass the buck. This is like it was so sweet, like how they were setting it. How the fuck did they fuck this up? They were setting it up so nicely. It
Yeah. It's like you said numerous times. All you had to do was land the plane,
Yeah.
and you fucking tried to do a barrel roll and hit the goddamn ground.
yeah. Boop, boop, pull up. Boop, boop, pull up.
We got a super chat. It says, "Please review Bloodline with Sean William Scott." Have you seen that? It's kind of a Dexter type movie.
No.
It's worth checking out. Sean William Scott's kind of like Dexter, basically. So you got a murderous Stifler. I feel like it was a little too much like Dexter at times, but I liked the way that the movie wrapped up. That's kind of my quick review for it. There's some twists that they pull off in the third act that I thought was really nice.
It does sound familiar. Maybe I did watch it and just
it's worth checking
erased
out.
it from my memory.
Yeah. Desi says, "Hubby silent in his bear slippers, disappointed silent for 5 minutes after this finale. Angry we didn't get the Batista confrontation too. Wasted season."
Why even introduce the fucking character? And especially bring him back up at the end there.
That was my thing. It was literally dangling a carrot in front of everybody. And like and I don't know, like if that Batista scene never happened in the finale, I don't know how much more accepting I would have been of what happened. But the fact that they teased this so much better direction to go, just to say, fuck you, we're going in this way, it made it all worse for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I wish I could go back and like watch the season finale without that one scene and just see how it plays. Dirk Jason Hall, happy birthday, Cody. Love the new Dexter and really loved Halloween Kills. Just got the Steelbook. Love y'all's content. And I've recently been studying Kubrick films. Who is your y'all's favorite director? Mine's probably Carpenter. What's yours?
Tarantino, probably.
Tarantino. He's up there. He's certainly top 5.
Yeah, if he's not Tarantino, it's probably
Nolan or something.
Nolan or Scorsese or something. Edgar Wright. Until I saw Soho, I was like, "Oh, you finally tripped. You finally tripped." But yeah, so
Desi sent me the same one.
Like Desi said, "Come on, you fuck." I don't remember what movie it was. I think it was Truman Show or Ed TV. It was one of those copycat movies where everybody was watching TV. When the series ended. It was like the end of one of those movies where everybody just kind of turns their TV off and just kind of stares like, well, now what? Like that
yeah.
That's what I was after the end of the finale. I was just like, did they just fucking do that again? Like,
yeah.
How did you do that?
I was in denial for like 2 days. I was like they're fucking with me, right? Like they're gonna announce like just kidding or something. Like we got the actual episode coming up next week, or like the ultimate troll. Like there was something. It was just such a jarring turn in that last 15 minutes, and such an unsatisfying ending where I was just like, that can't be real. That can't be real. To the point where we were watching the finale, and I actually watched all the way through the credits, expecting like him to wake up like a post-credit scene or some shit,
nice.
and then be like him in the jail cell taking a nap, and then show what actually happened or something. Like they kept showing. I'm like, there's got to be something, right? And then as soon as it took me back to my Amazon Prime screen, I was like,
somebody put the wrong thing in the Amazon. This isn't right.
It was like a delayed reaction, the same one that I had when Sopranos ended and it just went to black. I'm like,
yeah,
somebody fucking unplug my shit.
Like... Well, and they established that sort of trick to storytelling because when Matt, is that his name, the fucking douchebag who bought the gun? When like there was 2 or 3 times where he pissed Dexter off and Dexter fucking gave him the butt of the gun and then the guy's like, "Are you all right?" And like he snapped back out of it. And they did it a couple of times where I was like, "All right, you set the precedent. You can technically, use that as a back door, but no, we're just gonna go this way."
And so that almost would have been clever if they did something like that they knew was going to punch everybody in the gut and then pull that little switcheroo that they set up in the early season and show what actually happened. Like that would actually, I would have liked that.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm such a fucking bitch that if like say 3 months from now, they just have like a teaser where Dexter gets up with Angela and all right, let's go do whatever. I would be like, okay, all right, I forgive you. Let's do it again. Come on, 10 more episodes. Let's go.
I don't know, man. Like to me, it's like getting back together with that girlfriend that I've broken up with twice now. It's just, I promise I've changed. It's
but
fuck.
Yeah, she's good in bed, so you know she's crazy, but you're gonna.
I'm right there with you. They could just be like, yeah, we're gonna do a little 3-episode fix in July, and part of my initial reaction was like, no, fuck you, you don't get to do that. No,
this is gonna end horribly, but boy, is the sex gonna be great.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh man, yeah. So
the first third of the show was that bait and switch, the red herring thing with the billionaire and Kurt. And I figured like I saw a lot of people like, what's the deal with the billionaire? You even said it a couple of weeks back. What's the deal with the billionaire?
My experience was because first of all, I know everybody doesn't follow all of the news of shows like these. I mean, it's pretty hard not to with social media, but I don't expect everybody to be on the up and up like I was. But they announced definitively that Clancy Brown was going to be the villain this season when they casted him. Not only that, people that watch Dexter know that anytime you have a big celebrity guest, they're pretty much always the villain.
Yeah, very few exceptions. Bad. Yeah,
very few exceptions. And so the first couple of episodes when they were just showing the eye of the guy and they were just showing like shit, like corners of him or whatever. And I had so many people in my comment section that were arguing with me. They're like, that's not Clancy Brown. That's that other guy. It's the guy from Supernatural. And I'm like, no, it's Clancy Brown. Like they announced he's the villain. Like, what are you talking about? And so there was like 5 weeks there where I was just like, okay, whatever, we'll see. And
I can understand that because they both had like the same color eyes. Like I think they did that on purpose. Like just but the fucking dude was loaded. Sure.
Yeah. As soon as they announced, or as soon as they showed Clancy Brown definitively as the killer, the other guy never showed up again. For one scene.
It was weird. They could have like I think he had 2 purposes. One was to kind of make you a second guess whether or not he was doing all that shit. And he was kind of like weird, pseudo threatening to Angela's daughter.
It makes it even crazier that you're talking about the billionaire guy.
Yeah, the billionaire guy. Because like when he bought out the diner for his little meeting or whatever, and he's like, I gave you guys hot cocoa, and the fucking daughter was like, here, just fucking, this is what I think about you. Like they were doing like this political thing, like he's an oil baron and fucking people can't stand him. Like, okay, so you're setting up that the girl's a bit of a snowflake. All right, I got that, but I don't know if you needed to go to such lengths to use a whole nother character just to let us know that this girl really gives a shit about the environment and fucking all that other junk. But it seems like he had a dual purpose, and I can't explain anything else. I mean, he let them use the helicopter when they were looking for Matt. Like,
And to get ahead of the comments, I know hindsight's 2020. I know it's easy to Monday morning quarterback the shit out of this, but there was also a big missed opportunity with his character for another thing where like they could have had him be this lingering plot line throughout the whole season, and it would have given Audrey a little bit more to do too, where she's continuing this fight against him. And then after they kill Clancy Brown in episode 9, he could have come in as another threat that comes out of nowhere in episode 10 and takes Audrey, and Dexter has to take him out. And that was the way to mend ways with him and Angela right there, or give her some kind of a complicated thing. And they set it up. Like, there's so many things throughout the season that they set up and then just didn't go with. Like the other one's the podcaster. You have this podcaster girl come into this town who's this big famous presence that everybody knows in this fucking town. Apparently everybody listens to this podcast.
Mary fucking Kill.
Yeah, which is a great title. But she's so investigated and she's so invested, and she investigates so much into these things that she's even got a podcast about the Bay Harbor Butcher saying like, and I don't think that was actually Dokes. And if I'm correct, and it's just like, well, there's obviously a lot of evidence out there that she has done a lot of research on. She's got a whole episode on Trinity. She's got a picture of Rita. With
how the fuck
her thing.
like that?
But she sees Jim Lindsay and doesn't say,
yeah,
hey, what's up, dude? And then go to Angela and be like, that's fucking Dexter Morgan.
Yeah, right. Like, that's the husband of the fucking
That's
blonde
not the way that she figures it out. No, it's got to be she happens to go to this fucking conference, and of all the people on planet Earth, Batista's there and decides he wants to talk about Dexter and Harrison.
That's a hell of a point. One thing I learned in 2021 was, as far as horror television is concerned, man, kids love fucking podcasts. They love those true crime podcasts, whether it be Chucky or Dexter. And it's just like, really, is this the new thing now? Does TV think that fucking true crime podcasts are fucking the cat's pajamas? Because okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
Aaron Anderson, what's up, Cody and Charlie? What are y'all's favorite sitcoms? Mine's King of Queens. Absolutely.
Sitcom. I'm gonna say Friends, because I really liked watching it for a bunch of reasons. Jennifer Aniston was always cold in that show. Always cold. Man, I sound like such a dirtbag. Everything I'm talking about is tits.
You brought it back to tits 3 times. We're only 32 minutes in. Dirt Jason Hall, I would have rather Batista kill Dexter. I don't know if I wanted Batista to kill Dexter, but just him being involved at all. Anyway.
Yeah, right. So the first act was just kind of setting up the big bad. And then the second chunk was I guess it is when Harrison starts settling in, and the weird, like his first moment at school, like he befriended the fucking douchebags on the wrestling team, and then they were like fucking sending nude pictures, which have tits, to like the school dweeb,
the shooter. Yeah.
And then he was like, that's fucked up. And they're like, yeah, isn't it? And and then a week later or later that day, he goes and has lunch with him, and like I was just like, what is Harrison's deal? What is he doing?
It was a weird thing because I was on board with his character for the first 4 episodes or so. Because he showed up with Dexter. I'm like, okay, he's got a reason to be pissed at Dad, and he's got a reason to be a little angry at the world, but they weren't like really leaning into it. He was still like functional as a person. They had a little bit of room to grow in their relationship. Obviously, they've got a lot of time to kind of mend fences, but he was normal. And then you had the whole thing in the high school where it seems like he also has this kind of justice thing where fuck the popular kids, I'm going to go hang out with this nerd because what they're doing is wrong. And he's even got Audrey on his side to a certain degree. And then they just kind of turn him completely. Like as soon as he has that knife fight with the kid and sets him up to be this shooter, not to say that he might have not eventually actually been a shooter, but he wasn't planning to that day. you know, almost kills the kid and then sets everything up to get away with it. And then you have the reveal of the Trinity straight razor.
Yeah, which is the knife that Trinity used, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if yeah.
Yeah, and so from that point forward, I was like, okay, interesting. So he's got a dark passenger. So the rest of the season is probably going to be Dexter trying to train him or trying to hone his darkness in, and maybe he's not going to follow the code. Maybe he's going to be more evil than Dexter ever was, or
that
I don't know.
Neat. I would have taken that.
Some interesting new direction, and then it was just like 5 episodes straight of them bitching at each other.
Yeah,
every single
and it was
scene
too
that they
much.
had with it. Yeah, every single scene they had with each other was Harrison and him almost getting to the point of having a conversation, and then Harrison being like, "Whatever, fuck you, Dad," and then walking away, and Dexter's like, "Damn, I got that thing I got to go do," and then he gets on the phone. Are you going to
give me a ride, or should I walk to school?
Yeah, like, stuff like that.
All right, bro. We get it. You're a fucking teenager. You want to jerk off. Everything's terrible. And like, he just constantly had jabs where it was just like, dude, too much. We get it. You're pissed. It's been 2 weeks. Just let it go, man.
Yeah, and it's always
I've been handling myself for the last 3 years. I'm sure I can handle breakfast. All right, dude. Just fucking say no to the toast. How about that?
Yeah.
Just no.
Simple no, it is fine, but okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of the thing that I was in, where I'm watching him, and especially as a dad, it's very hard because I have an intolerance for disrespectful kids and shit like that. So when I see him in movies, like I watched The Santa Claus. And I used to love that movie, and now I watch it. I'm like, that fucking little prick never listens. He gets out of the sleigh, he does his other shit, and so I kind of have that thing where I'm watching this, and I'm just like, you got a reason to be mad, but I just want Dexter to smack you in the fucking head, and it's hard to accept too because I made a comparison to where it's like Skylar in Breaking Bad. Like, you understand why she's being the way that she's being, but because she's fucking with Walt, you're like, shut up, bitch, shut up.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing here. You're like, shut up, Harrison. It's Dexter. And the fact that Dexter never stands up to his kid, he's just kind of like, oh, yeah, I know.
He feels like
the whole
shit.
season.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on, dude. Like, where's the fire? And so
there's that. And then, like, Deborah just fucking kicks his ass at every turn.
Thing. Yeah, that was another thing that I loved it in episode 1. I wasn't sure how I was going to like it. I'm like, man, but I love James Remar. We're not going to get Harry. And so whenever they changed it, I was like, okay, that can make sense. And they did it in the first episode where she would bitch at him, and then she would be like in bed, like stroking his head, like hugging him and nurturing him.
Were you okay? Like when they were sitting at the kitchen table and she was like laying down with her arm, like that felt a little couple-ish more than it felt like brother sister. I got some really weird incesty vibes with some of the shots in the first episode where I was like, I would never hang out with my sister like that.
Well, see, that's the thing that's weird, and that's another thing that they kind of throw away in the finale is that they've kind of hammered home for 8 seasons that Dexter doesn't really feel love. And so whenever he's with Rita, even by the end of their relationship, you never really know if he actually grew to love her or not, or if it was just the fact that he liked what she gave him and all that security and his son. Then
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It was wishy-washy. There was never a. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. At the end of 3, when he was taped to the table or roped to the table, and the Skinner was getting ready to kill him, he's like, "I want to live. I've never wanted something so much in my life." And like
his kid,
like yeah. So there was that. There was the season 4 that like how happy he was about being a family, and he didn't want to fuck it up. And the same
and then
thing.
his reaction at the beginning of season 5. That's what I'm saying. It was. I could go either way. Somebody could tell me that, like, yeah, he grew to love her, and I'd be like, okay. Or you could tell me like he was as close as he possibly could, but could never really get there, and I would be okay with that too. But then you had Hannah. You had Hannah in season 7 and 8, where he's like, this is the first time I've really loved somebody, and he kept like they hammered that whole thing home to the point where he gave his kid to her.
Yeah,
and then
here you go. Just don't give him any ricin, okay? Thanks.
Exactly. And then you had the whole moment, but somewhere between season 6 and 8, where he's like, he even says in the first season, I think, if I could ever love anybody, it would be Deb. And you get that in person, not in the way that she was towards the end, which is fucking stupid storyline. But he definitely loved his sister.
Yeah.
And so there was all these moments throughout the series where they're like, okay, there's somebody that you at the beginning of the series could not love has grown to have that emotion for at least one or two or three people. And Harrison would make four. And so they have that where she's dead and he feels guilty. So when she's like holding him and everything, I think that's just kind of his way of interpreting love in a certain way. That's kind of how I looked at it. And then in the, get to the finale, and his last line, he's like, "I've never felt love until now." And I'm like, "What the fuck? No."
Yeah. No, you've done it before. At least you thought you did. Emily's been catching up, and we just recently steamrolled through 4, and then re-caught up with 5. I think a lot of Dexter, like when he was trying his best to keep his secret, it was like misinforming a situation. Like right before they catch Arthur Mitchell's family, Deborah tells Dexter about his mom and that he's Brian Moser's brother. And Dexter's kind of fucked up because he's like, oh shit, how much does she know? And Deborah
and then
was
never
like,
gets brought up again.
Right. Exactly.
She's like, well, he knows.
And his wife's dead now, so fuck it, never mind.
Weird.
But it could have been misconstrued as Deborah thinking, oh, he really feels bad about this. I need to be the supportive sister. Meanwhile, it was just like Dexter was like, oh, is there anything else you want to talk about? Because there's more.
Yeah.
And then that was it. I feel like Dexter protected that secret so much that once it was out, like Lumen, it was kind of like he was just so anti-Dexter in season 5, or it was just like, here's some medication. It has Masuka's name on it. I'm gonna go drive here. You here's a ticket that I bought with my credit card. Here's my social security number. You do what you want. Go back to fucking Colorado or whatever the fuck, Minnesota, one of those middle states. And like it was just so anti-Dexter with season 5. Where he was just like so trusting, and it was just like, whoa, where did this come from? And we've seen very different versions of, like in season 3 when he was showing Miguel Prado the code. He was very protective of things. Like he would give you 8 but hold 2 back. Like, all right, here's some of the secrets, but I need something for my own. And sometimes it was just like, here, this is everything I know. And oh, you poison people? Here, take my kid.
Yeah.
It's just very, 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 like, very chip choppy. It's so counterproductive to the way they set things up. But we're only in the middle too of season. Fucking
couple super chats real quick to get caught up. Undisputed Nerd, learning that Harrison watched Dexter kill Matt makes every interaction they had all season feel empty. The last episode retroactively ruins it all. Yeah, I didn't catch that. Did they show? I mean, I know I thought it was weird that he knew. He knew where it happened when they met up in the woods at the end. Did they show like a flash of Harrison like looking through the trees and seeing Dexter kill the guy in the first episode? That does kind of fuck up the whole story arc of, oh, by the way, I'm a killer 9 episodes later.
I didn't even realize that it was the exact same spot. I didn't even put that together. The thing that bothered me was like, how the fuck did Angelo find them? What the fuck?
And there's the CCTVs that fucked him in the early part of the season. That's magically not there this time, I guess.
Yeah.
Desi, new ending. Harrison refuses to kill Dexter to stop the pattern. He gets arrested, and the last scene is a look between Dexter and Batista as he's brought in. I would take that.
That's fresh, interesting.
Yeah, when was asked about the white buck, Harrison had a flashback in the woods and snow. Was that flashback showing that Harrison saw Dexter kill that guy? See, I don't know. So I guess we're kind of wishy-washy. I would have to go back and watch that scene.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the buck or if it was the other guy. Clancy Brown was great as the big bad, but I find it hilarious how he never once slipped into Mr. Krabs at all. I think we got one more. JDev TV, the thing I'm most pissed at, they killed Hannah off screen. Dexter loved Hannah much more than Rita. Thanks for all the Dexter content over the last year and a half. Yeah, we were talking about that before we went live. And I don't know if one of us, obviously me and CP haven't been live until now, but we talked a lot on the phone while watching these episodes. And one of us thought that it was going to be revealed at some point that Harrison killed Hannah. That seemed like a
Yeah.
lingering truth that was going to be revealed at some point.
Uh-huh.
And the fact that they never did, it was weird that she was just written out of the show, although I guess it was convenient for the story they were trying to tell. And another thing that was really weird that never got brought up was Astor and Cody.
See, I kept expecting at least Astor to come back and
that's
have
the thing
some
that I
sort
don't
of
understand
something.
so Harrison obviously knows his mother. He knows that she was killed. He knows all of this. He just had to discover where Dexter was through Instagram and shit later on,
Yeah.
but he clearly knew where he came from.
Right.
Well, anything that you look up regarding his mother's death is going to say that she was, left behind 3 kids. Like it felt weird that he never tried to find his brother and sister, never asked Dexter about it. Dexter never brought it up. I mean, the show didn't know what the fuck to do with Astor and Cody after season 4, so I guess they didn't want to deal with it again. But it was very strange that he's trying to reform his life and feel like he's a part. It's like, oh, by the way, you've got 2 siblings.
And kids heal. So the fact, by my math, Astor would be about mid-20s by now. You would think that she'd at least look him up on Facebook and be like, oh yeah, I have that half brother that I kind of, just to look into it. Like there's so many things, you said it before about Monday morning quarterbacking, but pre-production on TV shows like this, it takes weeks upon months where they plan things out and they have like these trees.
They had years before they even greenlit it.
Fucking A, man. Think things out and get somewhere where like there's so many things where it was just like, all right, we'll just say that Harrison, hitchhiked. What?
They could have packed this out to where each of the 10, like I hate to keep doing the comparison, but you think about the final stretch of Breaking Bad where every episode was like, holy fuck, and then the credits would roll, holy fuck, and they could have done that so easily with just a couple of
Ozymandias is
to where every episode of this series would have just left our jaw on the floor, had so much packed into it. Yeah, it's weird. Shody Gee, imagine Batista asking Dexter if he killed LaGuerta and Dexter tells him it was Deb. So many missed opportunities. Ooh. I actually don't think that he would have. I'm debating heavily. I'm debating heavily on maybe doing a video where I write my own ending of the show and share that with everybody, especially now that I know everybody's
I
really
want in on
invested.
that. That's interesting.
Yeah, we might. Maybe we'll do that.
We could do a pitch wars on how to really do Dexter.
There you go. Yeah, there we go. Maybe we'll do that next week. So if I was going to go that route to where Batista is grilling Dexter for all these details, I actually can picture the scene where he's asking about all these things and Dexter's confessing, like, Dokes, what's up with Dokes? And then he gives him the answer, like, what happened with Rita and the Trinity kid? And then he gets, did you kill Maria? Did you kill Maria? And then he looks and he gets a flash of season 7 finale, and he wants to preserve his sister's image, and he looks at him and says yes, and takes the fall for it.
Or like you could even kind of split the difference and have him preserve everything, where he was like, Deb thought I was being held against my will. She opened lie a little bit. Deb opened the container and thought I was in trouble and shot LaGuerta by accident. It was her fault. And that's why I left, because every time I was around somebody died, so I needed to get away from that, and that's why I did this. And you could have milked that for another fucking 2 or 3 seasons, motherfuckers.
New Blood or new Chucky series, better quality? Dexter as a whole, the whole season, Dexter New Blood was way more consistent than Chucky, but I was more satisfied by the end with Chucky than I was with Dexter.
I'll agree with that. I had a lot of nitpicks with Chucky. And I thought Chucky was way too fast in the beginning, and then they flip-flopped, where Dexter was just like, can we do something? Can we fucking do something? And then at the end, it was just like, guys, slow the fuck down. But as a whole, I think 1 through 9 on New Blood was very good. It was like a B+, A-. Even the first 20 minutes of episode 10 was still kind of like, oh man, it's gonna happen. Oh wait, what the fuck? We're going down very fast. The wheels have fallen off the plane.
The oxygen masks are dropping. Jake Waldman, what happened to Harrison's dark passenger? Didn't they build up that he did have one? He stabbed an innocent person. Yeah, that was another issue I had with the finale. Is all season long they were like, this kid's fucking psycho, everybody, and it showed him almost, or I don't know if he was trying to kill the school shooter or if he just wanted to injure him. Nonetheless,
yeah, and he said like Dexter said everything, like the blood never lies, and what you're saying doesn't make any sense. No, it's just like, oh, he was doing it for fun.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So hurting a kid or potentially trying to kill him. Then you have the arm snap in a crowded room. Then you have the 3 wrestlers that try to attack him, which who knows if Dexter didn't show up and grab him, maybe he would have fucking sliced all 3 of their jugulars. He was clearly getting off to a certain degree on the whole thing about killing Kurt until he saw the blood and had a little bit of a Dexter season 1 moment. But they all season long, they're like, this kid's fucked up. He's exactly the same as Dexter. And then in the last 15 minutes, they're like, just kidding. He's not. He's a good guy.
He's a good person. He's missing that one little element that Dexter has about killing.
Yeah. And in any way you want to try to spin it, it doesn't work for me. If you say, yes, he still has a dark passenger. Okay, well, then this whole season solved nothing because now he's going to go off into the world with no guidance. You have the whole thing about, well, he's just not, he lost his dark passenger by killing his dad. That was the secret sauce. Well, that doesn't make any fucking sense. So I don't like that either. Or you have the whole thing about, well, Dexter thought that him killing him would have given him solace and at least maybe patched over the dark passenger, to which I give a very logical question of, so if your biggest concern is your son not going as far as you did and actually becoming a murderer, that's your biggest thing you're trying to prevent with your death, why are you asking him to kill you then? You're literally giving him his first kill. Like somebody, I think it was Desi suggested earlier, where they do the Jesse Pinkman thing where he's just like, no, fuck it, you do it yourself. If Dexter had killed himself, it would have made a little more, I don't think I would have liked it anymore, but it would have made a little more logical sense because he takes himself off the table versus, hey, I know you might be a killer one day and I don't want you to end up like me, so kill me real quick, okay?
I'm trying to think like how they can, like, if Showtime made money, and like it's hard to, you know, I like money. It's hard, even if Michael C. Hall comes back just as a producer, and they try to do something weird with Harrison. I'm trying to think, because like this thought just came to my head right now, and I was thinking of Avengers Endgame for some stupid reason. If he like found Quinn is still alive, right?
Yeah.
So if he found like a pseudo corrupt cop, and he's like, listen, I know you know who my father is. If anybody slips through the system, let me know, and I'll make sure that justice prevails. I think I would kind of be interested in that. If he was like a super fucking dark Avenger, that would be interesting to me. It would be a different enough thing where it's not really Dexter, but he's taking the tutelage that he had from one episode of Dexter, and I don't know. I'm going to be thinking about this for fucking thanks. I was fine thinking season 8 was shit. I let it go after about 2 weeks, and now I'm going to be thinking about New Blood for about a year and a half because fuckers.
Let's dive a little bit into actual New Blood, because we've been talking just Dexter in general for quite a bit.
Yeah, we're just fucking spitballing.
We're just bullshitting. Clayton Kelly, doesn't the fact that Dexter's girlfriend found out he is Bay Harbor Butcher make Miami Metro look much more stupid? We're going to get into that. Trust me. So
why'd your first call be to Miami Metro? Like, hey, by the way, I don't know if you were in on it, but I've got Dexter here.
I solved your shit in like a week and a half, you dumb fucks. I
solved your ridiculous murder, but by the way, I have 25 missing girls that have been under my feet, and I can't for the life of me understand where they are.
In a town where there's a rich, powerful guy that everybody fucking hates and is so evil, or this really weird, rich, powerful guy that has a diner and acts really strange. I don't know who the killer could be. I don't know who the killer could be.
At
Every
the
single one
diner.
of them goes to his fucking diner and he tries to give him a job application, but
It's
it's just
5,000
weird. It must
job
be a coincidence.
applications and they all disappear. Nobody gets the job. Something's weird. Hey, why don't you get me one of those job applications? Because we don't have any left. You just kept giving them away and nobody got the job. What do you mean job application?
Anything weird about the left wall of the fucking police station? Oh man, real quick, Richie, I would have loved to see Harrison kill Angela to save Dexter. He would have been a hero. Now he's hated. Nobody will watch a show based on Harrison.
I don't know if we'd feel that way. I don't know if Dexter would. I mean, it's an interesting take.
Yeah.
But-
So
Well, hold on. I put an asterisk on that because there was a moment where Angela was in danger, but I need you to remember more than I can because I'm going to forget in about 14 seconds.
okay. So we discussed like kind of our overall kind of emotional ride throughout the season. But I want to talk a little bit more about individual characters and kind of how you felt. So like Dexter as a character in this season, I think Michael C. Hall was awesome. He was one of the few things I was saying positive. Like he just slipped right back into the role.
Yep.
I really liked seeing him out of his element, seeing him having to kind of piece things together. You know, like whenever he had to kill the drug manufacturer and he had to like go and get ketamine and go get all this shit when usually he just has his little kit in his closet. So I liked all of that.
And he had a bunch of emotion this year where we've never seen that. Like when Deb was giving him shit in the truck and he's just like, stop. You've never seen him do stuff like that. And then when he went to go kill the drug dealer at the whatever and the cops caught him and he's like, tell me that's not the fucking guy. And I was like, holy shit, I've never seen this from Dexter. This is impressive. I liked this.
I liked all of that.
Hopefully he doesn't die soon.
I liked all of that. I thought that there was some things that they were writing as far as him being kind of a little rusty that were starting to frustrate me. Like I get what they were going for. Okay, 10 years off. I think if he says that he's killed in the hundreds in the finales. So if you've killed hundreds of people, I kind of have a bit of a hard time thinking that 10 years off, 15 years off, 20 years off would make you that rusty.
We all fall off the bike once in a while.
Yeah. So episode 2, like whenever he had to go and cover up that blood trail for fucking miles, like he was just dragging a dead body all the way back to his place, not realizing it was bleeding out, was a little bit of a stretch. But I was like, okay, I'll forgive that. But all throughout the season, there was a lot of things where they were making him very sloppy and careless that was starting to frustrate me. And there was a lot of kind of, it almost felt like they were rewriting the character to a degree to kind of shove a square peg into a round hole to get where we needed to get by the end of the season. Even in the story, right there, right on cue. So there's a big thing that I was talking about and a lot of fans have brought up where they have a huge little writing issue where all throughout the first 8 seasons, first 8 seasons, he's using M99 as his knockout drug.
Yeah,
I think it's something that they use on elephants.
I have a stat on that. Hold on, because they always said M99 in the show. Like I was always, and I remember thinking, what the fuck's M99? Never heard of that shit. All right, so M99 is etorphine or whatever the fuck. It's one of the fiends, and it's mostly used for animal tranquilizer. Ketamine is less used because it's almost half as effective in immediate operation, meaning it would take a little bit for the fucking person to get knocked out. M99 or etorphine has about a 240 milliseconds working rate or whatever the fuck that I can't science. Meanwhile, ketamine is 420, which is almost twice as slow. So
sticking them in the neck would not mean they'd go, ugh.
Yeah, not
like,
immediately, right?
Getting drugged out and shit like that.
Dick, what the fuck is it? Ooh, I kind of feel okay. What is that?
Exactly. So you have this whole plot hole that's written into here, and apparently there has been an explanation given that actually makes me even more frustrated. So you have the episode with the drug manufacturer where he has to go to the pet vet to get ketamine because that's the only thing that he can get a hold of. And there's even a line of dialogue in that scene where he's gathering the plastic and shit, and he's like, ketamine, it's not really my go-to, but got to do what we got to do.
Oh, that's
and so
right.
and so the
That's right,
show
yeah.
is acknowledging this isn't his usual shit. And this is the only kill that he does with ketamine the entire season. So essentially he uses ketamine one time. And by the finale, you have Angela sitting him down and telling him all this evidence she has about Matt. And he's like, bitch, whatever. Like, I can get the fuck out of this in my sleep. It was Kurt. And then as soon as she brings up, she's like, I just have one word for you, ketamine. And he's like, what? And she shows him the pictures and links it to Behavior Butcher. And you could see on his face, he's like, holy fuck. To the point where he snaps an innocent man's neck and all that shit to get out because he's so scared that he's nabbed. And it's like, dude, you used ketamine once.
Yeah.
You used M99 on all the other motherfuckers for the last 8 seasons.
Yeah, and even the coroner was like, it's a party drug, and she was like, is it possible to make somebody? Can you force somebody to take this? And he's like, unless you want to hold them by gunpoint and make them snort that shit. I can't imagine this. This is pretty open and shut. But and then a drug dealer died of drug overdose. Man, that get right on the case. Holy shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing where like we keep kind of tailing right into the finale and the problems with it.
Dude, it's because like
Joanna,
they started
found,
with this long sprawling road where it was like, all right, we got a good backup plan here, we got a good backup plan here, and they just said, fuck all of it, we're just gonna ruin it, all of it, just all of it.
Yeah, they wouldn't have found ketamine in the BHP victims. Exactly.
Right
and
on.
So
Joanna.
Even though, yes, he did kill Matt, but he knew he had that beat all to hell. Even Deputy Logan's like, look, he's convincing me. He's damn sure going to convince a jury.
Yeah.
And then she brings up the Bay Harbor Butcher shit, which is even more of a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Even more of a Hail Mary.
Yep.
And he's so scared about confronting Batista or Batista confronting him about this that he goes so out of character in the last 15 minutes. I just don't buy it. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like, yes, it's going to be a very awkward conversation to be like, hi, I'm alive, and give him reasons for that. But Dexter has gotten out of so many slip knots.
Yeah.
Over and over again, where it's like, dude, dead to rights, he's done, and he just slips out of it.
He's been tied up a couple of times and managed to fucking and he broke his hand to get free. Like
and so the leap that they expect you to make and accept with him just going off the rails and freaking out in the last 15 minutes, it just doesn't work. And that big plot hole is one of the things where hardcore Dexter fans, or probably even some casual Dexter fans, are like, wait a minute, ketamine, M99, not the same thing. And I read something, and I haven't like verified this, but I read something to where they were asking about that. Like somebody was interviewing them about that. And apparently they changed it to ketamine this season to line up with a song in Michael C. Hall's band.
All right, Michael.
Cool, but that made me even angrier. I'm like, okay, so you caused a plot hole knowingly to cross promote. I don't know what that is, but anyway,
there's a fucking opioid crisis in this country, and it's so dismissible. If that were the only thing.
You need a DEA license for M99. That's why the change. Well, yeah, I understand the change for.
Oh yeah, they're all controlled substances. So like, when she's like, when she's like, just grab what you need. That ain't happening. You're not doing that with fucking controlled substances. I'm sorry. So that'll, like, if it were only that, you'd be like, all right, well, I have a nitpick about the drug thing, but it wasn't only that. Like, that was just the little tiny morsel that really starts this fucking snowball where it's just like, did you guys like take notes and get together on shit, or were you the idiot? I'm gonna do the drug dealer thing, and I'm gonna do the billionaire thing. Like, did you guys
shuffle the papers at the end? And
here we got it all together, coach. It's here's a season.
Shoot. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there was a lot of things that they wrote and changed about the character of Dexter that was just very frustrating for me. And one of the bigger ones too, which I was frustrated with for about an episode and a half before we even got to the finale. And we were talking about this before we went live. Like Dexter has always had this animalistic sense of what people are thinking, especially if they're suspicious of him or if they're thinking anything negative. He can just look into a room and just, you always get that inner monologue. Like this.
That was
person's
so
looking weird.
awesome too. Like when he would
And
do
so,
that, like,
he was always able to do that. Always. And you get to this season, and this is talking about the character of Angela a little bit too. So you have this character of Angela that's introduced as his girlfriend, the chief of police, all that. And I really liked her character for the first couple of episodes.
Yeah.
But as soon as she finds out that he's Dexter Morgan and confronts him, despite the fact that I like the fact that she wasn't listening to his shit, like he just thought he was going to talk his way out of it like he always does. And she's like, get the fuck out. Like, get whatever. I'm not listening to your shit. I like that. But from that moment forward, it was like her relationship with Dexter or Jim was just nothing.
Yeah.
And she
like
was just
sliding
a cop
off
from then
with the
on.
kisses. She was just like,
And so he was going around her, spent Christmas with her. He's like, I love you. And she wouldn't say anything. He did it like 3 times. He'd go to hug her and she would just be this when he was hugging her. And like anybody would have looked at her and been like, she doesn't like me. She's mad or she's suspicious or something. And so for like 2-3 episodes, he's around her and just doesn't suspect a thing. I'm just like, what are you? That's not my Dexter. I'm sorry. That's not Dexter.
On top of that, if she's such a, first of all, to piggyback what you're talking about with his inner monologue, I loved when he was like, I can't stand that my girlfriend's such a good cop. Like there was something when he planted evidence early in the season and she's like, why she's such a good cop. But Cake and Eat It too, either or, because she was beat a dick to Dexter, but then when she found Iris, it was like, I need to speak to Dexter Morgan.
And I thought that was going to be the path to their reconciliation or her having a bit of a moral quandary with what's going on. And then
you create this avenue where it's like, all right, he's helping. I can understand why you ran away from whatever bullshit.
Yeah. As soon as he helped her, she's like, all right, now fuck off.
Yeah.
And it never gets brought up again. We had a bunch of
kiss, get out.
Yeah. Not just that, but Frank discovered the use of M99 when investigating the butcher, and Dexter did not freak out. He just went about covering it up. Exactly. That's exactly my point. Desi. Neck snap wasn't an accident. Gunshot reflex. Who knows? I mean,
that's the other thing too. Like that death,
it was so awkward.
Yeah.
Half the people thought that he shot himself with a ricochet. Half the people thought his neck was snapped. Half the people think Dexter killed him. Half the people think he just flinched and accidentally did it. And it was so jarring the way that they shot it, where it's like, if I can watch this 5 times and come up with 5 different ways this scene was supposed to be taken, you got a problem.
Yeah.
Almost every alternate suggestion for an ending we have heard would have been better. I like Batista taking Dexter back to Miami. I certainly prefer. I mean, you had 2 avenues to go that were obvious. He was either going to get caught or he was going to get killed. Now, there was a bunch of different ways to have him be killed that would have been a lot more meaningful and a lot more sensical than the way that they chose. But I still hold true that him being caught and having to come to terms with everything that he's done would have been a much more satisfying ending than any version of killing him. That's just my opinion. Was there a different writer for every episode? Certainly felt like it.
For the most part. Clyde Phillips, who was showrunner, he wrote the first episode.
Scott Reynolds was a writer on a lot of them.
Yeah. So Clyde Phillips wrote Series 1, Episode 2, Series 2, Episode 2, Series 3, Episode 1, and Series 4, Episode 1. So he knows how to set the table. He just never really.
And if he wrote the opening episode, I would say yet again, because that probably was my favorite episode of the season, was the opener.
And he did. He did write 9-1. So.
Haven't you guys heard? We're dumb hardcore Dexter fans, not smart hardcore Dexter fans. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for bringing that up. We were playing Halo literally 20 minutes before we went live, and CP brought that up. And yeah, I'm obviously going to paraphrase to a certain extent, but I'm pretty close with this quote. And they were talking to Clyde Phillips, the showrunner, about the finale and everything. And he had a quote that was along the lines of, hardcore Dexter fans are going to have a hard time accepting this as the ending, but smart hardcore Dexter fans will know that this was inevitable. Yeah. Well, I guess I'm a dumb as fuck.
Dying. Yeah.
I guess I'm a dumb as fuck Dexter fanatic because no, thank you.
I remember reading something a while back, and it was somewhere in the middle of the season, and it was an interview of him like in November, and he's like, I really think we set this up really nice this season, or this limited series is there's something great about it. Anybody who knows anything about Chekhov's gun, you're really going to be pleased. Chekhov's gun is a writing element where if you show a loaded gun, you better have it fire in in the story at some point. But
Mhm.
what he was talking about, episode 1, the gun was Dexter aiming at the buck, and he never fired that gun, but his son fired that gun at him, and it was just like,
Mhm.
do you really think? Are you proud of that? Is that your Chekhov's gun moment?
Yeah,
Because
they essentially reduced the character of Dexter down to a rabid dog that had to be put down in the last 15 minutes. And it's like, dude, like if you were trying to go that route, I don't suggest that route, but you had all season to get us there. You had all
yeah.
season to show him being animalistic or fucking up
Hmm.
the code or starting to kill people because his 10-year celibacy is now that he's back is like kind of like when a drunk starts to drink again and now they drunk way more than they ever used to.
Yeah,
Something like that. I mean, you
he
could
needs a
have
new
went that
Murderers
route.
Anonymous chip.
Yeah, you could have went that route and made us buy into by the end that he just went off the fucking rails because he tried to contain the darkness and then the darkness just
Right.
exploded out of him. But that
Which
wasn't what you did.
by the way, Dexter season 8, it will live in infamy for one of the worst television finales ever. The way Dexter died in New Blood may compete with Dark Knight Rises for one of the most weak-looking deaths ever. Like
Yeah.
if you watch how Dexter dies, he's just kind of like, I'm just gonna
It was very
crumble here.
awkwardly shot all the way around because you have I mean, even the emotion in Harrison is missing in that scene.
Yeah.
Like I had it in the intro. He takes aim, he
Mm-hmm.
fires, it stays on Harrison and he puts the gun down. Like there's never a tear rolling down, there's never like a hesitation, like, oh my God, nothing. He's just like, okay,
Yeah.
and then puts
Yeah.
it down, and then yeah, Dexter's like,
I would.
and then he falls, and they didn't want him to land in like a Christ-like pose, so Michael C. Hall came up with the idea about crossing his legs to the side and doing this.
Oh,
And so that was
really?
the reason why he falls really awkward because they didn't want him to be any kind of a
Too
Jesus
late.
image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. I was gonna say something. I fucking forgot.
Awkward death. Dark Knight
Awkward
Rises.
death. Dark Knight Rises. You son of a bitch. You bastard. Oh. I would be shocked if they didn't film at least 3 versions of that ending. Like, all right, let's try one where he misses Dexter and shoots Angela. Let's try one where Angela shoots both of them. I would, but I don't know. I would assume these people are professionals and
Well,
try to
see,
cover so many bases.
I expected that. I expected they probably at least shot 2 different versions and we're
I
gonna
would
wait
hope
to see
so.
the ratings. Where one, if the ratings were taking a shit, okay, we'll just end it here. If it was going the way that it apparently went, where Dexter New Blood is the most watched Showtime series of all time, they go,
Yeah,
oh fuck, ending B, baby, put it in season
yeah,
2. So,
yeah.
but what I have read, and again, you always got to take this shit with a grain of salt. What I read was that last scene was the first thing that they shot, or one of the first things that they shot, because the snow was melting, so they had to get that shot in the can and
Huh.
then did the rest of the season, which kind of makes sense because if you decide, okay, we need to get here, and they put their feet in the sand and they shoot that, and then they try to make the rest of the season work around that, it's kind of how it felt. Like they just didn't gel. Like that last 15 minutes feels like another show entirely.
Right.
And
Yeah,
so I can believe that to a degree.
and there were parallels. There was this mirror image thing, and I mean, Clyde Phillips has brought up, how he's got. Somebody said it in the chat. He's got daddy issues. He's always making shithead father characters and whatever. The way they set episode 9 up, they really could have done some sort of inverse to the Trinity Killer, where you could have had something where Dexter dies and Harrison finds him, or vice versa, like Dexter, like fuck, I ran away to try to escape this, and now Harrison's dead, and like there was so much that had so much room where it was like an ironic little parallel to the way the best season, in my opinion, season 4 ended, and they just kind of like uh, okay. And by the way, how the fuck did he get Mary fucking Kill? How did he get her? Because she went to his little cabin once, and then that was it. So how the fuck did he get a hold of her? Because that
They
was
suggest that he went to the hotel and got her and left a note or some shit like that, which again would have been very easily traceable because you could have found his fucking handwriting or whatever. There was so many things that which again, by the end, it's just like, dude, you got this beat dead to rights. Like so many things are going to fall on Caldwell after this. All you got to do is point him in the right direction, which he does immediately with Angela. So yeah, they don't really show how, but
the podcaster left their recording device back, huh?
And I thought it was strange. Yeah, I thought it was strange. Not the fact that he killed her, because she was getting close to the truth. So I understand he had to take her off the board to protect himself. But I thought it was weird, aside from obviously they just wanted that reveal of her box lighting up and showing that she was dead the whole time. I thought it was weird that he killed her and preserved her the same way that he did everybody else. Because the reason he did that with everybody else is because they were a runaway and he wanted to save them from the pain. She doesn't fit that. And so it was very strange. Like if he ended up killing Dexter and Harrison the way that he planned, would they have been in the box too? Like it was just very weird narratively that she showed up there. I get the visual was cool, but you kind of had to cheat a bit.
Dude, I want to tell you, I'm such a piece of shit because when they first showed that, first of all, I was shocked. I was like, oh shit, I'm completely surprised. Somebody behind all the missing people in Iron Lake. But the first thing I thought of was, man, this guy's got a lot of Zoltar machines. Holy shit.
If you don't make clip edited together with that,
I'll try to do it. Fuck, because I'm still editing the thing for Friday. So
yeah, I'm going to talk about Kurt after. So we're gonna go talk about that in just a second. Last episode was a dream, like in Dallas with JR.
I'll take it.
That was one of my first thoughts whenever the credits rolled. I was like, see you in 3 years when you try to reboot it again. Joanna, an ending, a Miami news channel showing BHB caught.
Yeah.
Let me scroll back down. I'm sure we've gotten another one. Billy the Kid, Dexter killing Logan, his character destroying for me. I agree. Everything with the finale really broke my heart. After so much good faith in the prior 9 episodes. That's exactly right. And that's why I said season 9 made me a lot angrier than season 8 did. Because season 8, from the beginning, I knew that the ship was going down. Like I knew we were taking on water. And so when we crashed at the end, I was like, oh, well, no shit. But this, I was like, we're in the air. We're good. All we got to do is put the wheels down. And what the fuck did you do?
Oh, shit. Engine 4's on fire.
Yeah.
And Logan was like, as a character, we were talking about characters before. He never really felt comfortable. He was being used by the podcast girl. He was always kind of like the nice guy, like, don't worry, Jim, it'll only be an hour. And
the only development he got was White Knight. And you find out why in the last 15 minutes. It's like, oh, he killed him?
Yeah, there was no real, like, his character was so undefined. It was just like, oh, he's the sweetheart who also is the wrestling coach, which anything I know about wrestling coaches, they usually are, well, less than proper. I mean, because I can name. I mean, you name me a character from the original Dexter series. I can give you something about that character. Masuka, fucking
Perverted
weirdo who likes,
and,
perverted, likes to joke. He's got that silly little laugh of his. You know, he's got that ego where the fucking lead. What was the title that he just could not let go?
LFI on the BHP.
LFI, yeah.
Lead forensic investigator.
LaGuerta was a bit of a power hungry person who fucked around a little bit. And shit. Deborah was somebody who really respected their job, if only to prove to her father that she was worthy. Quinn was crooked. There's so many things that, like, all these characters were fleshed out. This guy wasn't. It
Well,
just
that's kind of a problem I have with all of the characters in Dexter New Blood, to be honest. So let me read the super chat and we'll get into that. Harrison should have
okay.
shot Dexter in the leg, said, "No, Dad, I won't kill you, but you will get justice." And let me make sure we didn't have
That would have been
David
okay.
Coe. Another thing that bothered me, how messed up will Harrison be the rest of his life, was him driving off with the serial killer's truck uplifting. It
That
was
was
certainly a bit of
weird.
it's certainly weird. She's like, "Escape town. I can't even tell my daughter I've seen you." And the first fucking thing he passes by is the crime scene with the rest of the police force in Jim Lindsay's truck.
Yeah,
And then
getting
passes
pulled
by
over.
all the FBI.
It gets pulled over on the highway. This car is
He
registered
didn't
to a
make it very
Jim
far.
Lindsay, and this is not your name, so you're going to jail for theft.
Haven't finished Dexter, so I restarted the other day. But
Oops.
from what everyone says, should I stop at season 4? I mean, season 1 through 4 are perfect, and season 4 is like a really fucked up way to end the show if they had ended there. But people say that because
it's
the
the top
show
of the
is never,
mountain.
yeah, that everything after that is not as good. But I think season 5 is a damn good season, despite the ending. I think that season 6, certainly in retrospect, after watching season 8 and 9, has good moments, but it's a very messy season. Season 7, I think, is highly underrated. I think that that's actually a damn good season of Dexter. And then season 8's
Yeah,
a shit show. Season 9 is pretty good until you get to the end. So I don't know.
yeah.
If you love the show, I would say continue on, but just hold your expectations modestly.
Season A New Blood, also known as season 9, is like what would happen if you took season 4 and then took the last episode and switched it with like season 6. That's
Dexter
basically
New
what.
Blood. Have you ever seen Van Wilder?
Yes.
Okay, Dexter New Blood is like Van Wilder, where they're eating these delicious donuts, and it's so fucking delicious all the way through, and then they get all the way to the end and realize it was a dog's jizz the whole time. That's kind of like how New Blood was. Okay, so characters of Dexter New Blood. What you said is bang on with how I felt about the characters throughout this show, and one of the things that I've been very wishy-washy on, because when they were introduced, I really liked all these new characters. I liked
Mhm.
Angela, I liked Logan, all these different people in the small town. It was a different vibe. It wasn't quite as lively. But by the end, none of them really stood out. None
Right.
of them really
Right.
felt meaningful. None of them really were fleshed out all that well. And so that was part of the reason, like all the stylistic changes of taking it out of Miami, taking it out of Miami Metro, and putting it
Mhm.
here. Everything that we sacrificed to give something different was never replaced with anything equally as intriguing. So even Angela, once you get to the part where she knows that Dexter or Jim is Dexter, she's kind of one note the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Logan never
I
gets
don't
anything
trust you.
beyond he's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Audrey never gets anything outside of the first 2 episodes of being like
Well,
an environmental activist. She just eventually fucks Harrison.
she was
And
kind of a little weird though. Like she was into
mhm,
the dickheads, and then she
yeah,
kind of had a thing
it
for
was a
Harrison
high
while
school girl.
still being it's just
Yeah.
yeah, a chick.
Yeah, exactly. And even you had Kurt Caldwell, which I think was a good villain. I think he's certainly one of the better villains, but not as good as he could have been. And part of the reason for that for me is that first of all, they waste a lot of time early on playing fucking red herring.
Mm-hmm.
And to, usually in the season we know by the end of episode 1 who the killer is and what direction we're going. They kind of fiddle farted around with that for about 4 episodes. And so when we finally do realize that this guy's killing women and he's got this weird thing about he needs them to run away while he shoots them, and he keeps them in this little
Yeah,
fucking hotel room
that was
under it. Like there
weird.
was a lot of questions about how's this going to come together. I'm intrigued. By the end, I didn't really love the explanation that they gave. He just does all of this because he saw his dad beat up some hookers when he was a kid. And it's like, that's a little flimsy. And then they go to the whole thing about he was the one, his first kill presumably was Iris, the one that
Yeah.
has been pushing Angela this whole time. That whole reveal about, he's got all these women in this underground bunker preserved and kept away from everybody. But his first kill, he just buried underneath a couple of rocks in the entrance of this cave.
Throw some fucking rocks on the guy.
Yeah, exactly. That was so weird to me that he never would have gone back and gotten rid of that. The fact that she knew there was something there and it just happened to be the one person that she was looking for, like that's where you start to get into a lot of the plot contrivances of this season. But even by the end of it, and I don't even know how much I would change this in a negative way if I didn't just love Clancy Brown so much. But
He's a good bad guy, man.
yeah,
If you
by
need a
the end
bad
of
guy,
it,
he's your boy.
yeah, I love Clancy Brown, so I'm probably a little more positive on his character than I normally would be if it was a different
Fucking
actor.
Shawshank. Oh,
Oh yeah, for sure. But you have by the end of it, all of his characterizations is kind of a greatest hits of other killers that we've had in this show.
right.
So early on in the show, they show the blood draining and all of that, and it's like, is this like an ice truck killer thing? It's like the same shit. And then you get into the whole thing about him taking in these women, and he only kills women and gets them
Yeah,
off the street. Nobody ever comes looking for him. It's
the
very
Barrel
reminiscent of
Girls.
season 5 Barrel
Yeah,
Girls.
yeah.
And then they get into the whole thing about his motivation is to preserve their innocence, and it's like, well, that's the reason that Trinity was killing the kids and encasing them in cement. So it was kind of like they looked at the drawing board and went, we'll take a little of this and a little of that. And so by the end of it, I like his character, but I'm like, yeah, he doesn't stand out as much because he just kind of feels like a bit of a greatest hits.
But
So I don't know how you felt, but
I agree with you for the most part. But when he was like trying to be that adopted father to Harrison, I was really kind of digging that. Like,
I was
all
too.
right, what's his end game?
I
here?
like the fact that he found out what Dexter did, and he was the only killer smart enough not to let Dexter know that he knew for episodes. Like he was fucking with his life for weeks and didn't let him know that he was on his ass. We'll talk about how he found out, but go ahead.
Yeah. I was certainly second guessing, and again, this by this point, it's episode 8, 9, and it's like, where are we going? Because we're running out of time here. But again, it felt like a parallel, an inverse of sorts to Trinity, because Trinity, if only for the way he fucked families up. I thought that, everything as far as Harrison's concerned, he all he remembers is Trinity, and I can't get that out of my head and whatever. If they somehow wrapped it up where the end of this thing were something like the way Harrison experienced the Trinity killing his mother, whether it be Harrison dying and Dexter having to deal with that all over again, or Dexter dying and Harrison having to deal with that all over again, like experiencing, the same fucking thing 10 years apart. Like, that would have been a really, really, really nice dramatic touch. And for them to do it so late, like you have this guy and you find out that he's a fucked up dude in episode 9. And then for episode 10, they're like, nah, fuck it. Just fuck it. He and for fuck's sake, with the tell me if I'm missing something, because I'm a little hazy on the middle, because I watched the beginning a couple times and I watched the last 3 or 4 episodes a bit, at least 2 or 3 times each. But what was the big deal with the metal rod in the leg, and how did Kurt find that?
Okay, so that's exactly where I wanted to go. So the
Thank you.
explanation that they give us for how Kurt Caldwell discovers that Jim was the one that killed his son is you get that episode, maybe it's like episode 4 or something like that, where he picks him up after they've called off the search. He picks him up at that bar where he's drunk, stumbling out, Clancy Brown.
Oh,
And
it's
he had
snowing.
he had just burned his kid's body in that incinerator in the middle of town. And
Right.
so later on, we find out that that Kurt Caldwell knows not only that Matt is dead, but knows that Jim did it, because after he got home from that little drunk stumble, he realized that it wasn't snow on his jacket, that it was ash, which then from there, we have to make up all the details ourselves. So presumably he saw that it was ash, thought, I need to go check out this incinerator, which is in the middle of town, completely accessible to anybody. I'm sure they burn shit regularly, or at least somewhat regularly. So why seeing ash on your jacket would be this really weird event, I'm not sure.
Good point.
He goes to this incinerator, digs through the ash or whatever, and realizes that there's these little surgical pins or screws.
Yeah.
Then takes them and searches the serial number and finds out that it's from his kid for his little knee surgery or whatever, whenever he crashed the boat and killed all those people.
And by the way, none of this is told to us. This is just
Exactly. This is
you,
all
you doing
inferences
your own
that you
homework.
have to do. Yes, you have to do this logic gap on your own. So then he finds out, okay, wow, holy fuck. I'm glad I checked the incinerator because it actually was my kid's body in there.
Mm-hmm.
From there, how he realizes it was Jim, I have no fucking idea. He makes it seem like because Jim was driving
Yeah.
around
Oh, he
at
was
that
driving
time.
around at that time. Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, you were in a bar with a bunch of other people. Like, how many fucking people were walking around when this was happening? Like, it was
Yeah.
just,
And
it was
unless he was
such a leap that.
unless he
Go
was
ahead.
playing drunk, then how he came to that conclusion while being a little in the bag is
Mhm.
even more of a stretch, because I remember him stumbling around and Dexter's like, yeah, I'll give you a ride home. And he's like, you're such a good friend. And no, I spoke to him yesterday. He was on FaceTime. And it was just like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
What's going
exactly.
on here?
So I don't know. That was another thing that was just like really convenient writing. There was so many moments throughout this season where they were just like, I know this doesn't make sense, but fuck it, we're going. That was
Right.
one of them. I had a whole list of other ones. So you had
Well,
like,
on the titanium plate thing, um, he was just at Angela's house Christmas morning, and then
mhm,
magically that note is left in her mailbox. Within
mhm,
24 hours, and he has
yeah,
more than one of those titanium plate things. Which,
mhm.
guess what? I'm assuming he's got fingerprints on, and none of them are Dexter's. So, like, it's just a shortcut. It's such a shortcut of a explanation for things, where it's just like,
And that's what makes the final
no,
15 minutes so hard to go on, because you
right,
look at it and it's just like, dude, like Dexter's giving all these compelling reasons for why
right,
this is a bunch of horse shit, and he doesn't even get to those details. Like, as soon as you put this shit under a microscope, it's like, you got no fucking case. What are you talking about? This
yeah.
guy's fucked up. And then he puts the clincher in by sending her to this little museum of death. So like, there's no getting out of it at that point. So yeah, it's
Which,
just,
and again, she's not giving him an inch on anything he says. But when he says, "Oh yeah, by the
mhm,
way, he's got a museum of fucking Zoltar machines down
mhm,
over there," she's like, "All right, I'll see you later."
mhm.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
Yeah, he knows her weak point. He knows that that's it. You give her a little bit of hope that this hunch that she has had for presumably decades, that nobody else in the force, nobody else in the town gives any weight to whatsoever. They're like, whatever,
Hmm.
girl, that you could follow that fucking rabbit trail your whole life. As soon as he
Yeah,
gives her a little tiny bit of hope, he knows that's all he needs. And that's a whole other thing that they don't even explore in the finale, where it's like that was the perfect way to get her to have that moral question of like, God damn
yeah,
it, I want you so bad, but you gave me the one thing that I need in my life. Like,
yeah.
is that enough to make me forgive this or let you go? And they're just like, no, she sees it and then runs out and does that little doofy ass run back, shit, where she runs back to her truck because Dexter's gotten away at that point.
Yeah.
But there was so many of those things throughout the season where it was just like they forced it. I mean, you had
If you read a quick synopsis of episodes 1 through 7
mhm,
and just started watching, like, from halfway through 8 through 10, you'd be like, what the fuck did they do? Like,
yeah,
what did they do? They totally, like, 9 to 10 is such a different fucking beast altogether.
mhm,
I don't know, like, why catch Kurt? Why have that whole thing? What, just to break Harrison in? Like,
yeah.
it doesn't make you could have broken him in with like a fucking an animal or some shit. Why? It just doesn't make fucking sense to me. There's so many different things where it's just like, okay. And if they were gonna do stuff like that, I really wish they would just do more flashbacks, because I kind of enjoyed the little clown sequence. That was
Because it felt
fun.
like Dexter. They
Yeah.
had the letterbox was gone, the
Hey, look,
music was
color.
there. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And so one of the other big things that people, especially myself, have really had issue with this season, and when somebody had a super chat earlier talking about it, was the fact that for 8 seasons you had Miami Metro, all these different people trying their best to get to Dexter, could never even get. I mean, could kind of get close, but never had a
Yeah.
chance of getting him. But
Yep.
Angela's the one that breaks it all.
Yeah.
And there's a certain, I think it might have been Sean that brought up the point that, if she finds out that this guy that she's been with is under an assumed identity, escaped from Miami, worked at the place that was investigating the Bay Harbor Butcher and all of that. Like there's a certain logic to her being able to jump to certain conclusions, and that's true. The problem is the way that they get her to start questioning everything is so fucking convenient and contrived, like all the other things that we were just talking about. So you have the episode where Harrison's getting fucked up at the party. He's taking drugs, he's doing, drinking and everything like that. And for reasons that I can't figure out, he turns to his girl and he's just like, my dad's name isn't even Jim.
Yeah.
And then just randomly.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
In the same fucking episode, she's off in a different state at some little conference. And of all the people on planet fucking Earth, who's there? Batista. Which on surface value, okay, as a fan, it's cool to see him.
Cute.
But then they sit down, they start having this conversation that just gets shoved into the Bay Harbor Butcher. And then he just starts talking about Dexter and Deb out of nowhere. And the thing that I had a problem with, aside from this being just so forced and convenient, and I even said that week where I was just like, guys, that was no. Yeah. Is that when you watch the first 8 seasons, it's pretty fucking evident that Batista loves Dexter and Deborah. Like Dex might even be like his best friend if you asked him. There's so many times where he defends him. Even to LaGuerta, he defends him. He goes to him for anything, or whenever he's thinking about marrying LaGuerta, he always goes to Dexter. His sister watched Harrison basically 24/7 for a couple of years.
Yep.
Was at his house. I don't buy
that's
for
right.
a second.
Yeah, she was the nanny for a bit.
Yeah. And every 5 seconds he had to go leave to kill somebody. So he's like, can you work late? Like every fucking day. Like she might as well has been his wife. I don't buy for a second that he would not remember who the hell Harrison was. And he's sitting there like he's talking about them like they were just people he worked with once. Like, oh yeah, there was this guy, but he died. Man, he had a cute kid too. Like, fuck, what was his name? And I'm like, dude, she doesn't give a shit. So why are you talking about this? It makes no sense. And then he walks away and stops and turns around and goes, oh yeah, Harrison. And it's just like, as a about this, and I don't buy that you don't remember his fucking name.
As a writer, I'm watching that scene and I'm like, we have enough information. It's clear that they were giving this information as if you've never seen anything happen before, Dexter. You could have just had him say, oh, actually, this really good detective cracked the case, Deb. And she was a part of a great family. Like that would have been it. Can I speak to this person? No. She passed away. Very, very tragic what happened to her family. And that's it. But for him to go, oh, what was his name? Harrison. Shut the fuck up. Like really?
Yeah.
Like,
so she comes home with that information. Like that's kind of weird. Like that's like that kid in that. Like there's only 2 people on planet Earth that are named Harrison. That's very peculiar. And so she gets home, and then he's like, what's weird? Harrison said something about his dad not being actually Jim. And that's what makes her start doing all this investigating. And it's just like, oh Bingo, my God.
I got it.
You had to take like, just fucking get there.
Yeah.
And that was what was so frustrating about the pacing of this season. Because there was so many episodes where it was like, come on. And then there was other episodes where they're like, fucking go.
Yeah. Don't forget the stop signs. Just fucking blow through it. Just go.
Exactly. You have that. I mean, like I said, her finding Iris of all people in the cave, the fact that Iris was there, even when she starts to suspect, when she finds out that he's Dexter, and then she literally just starts doing these random inferences where like she just starts Google searching Bay Harbor Butcher. Or no, she Google searches ketamine murders Miami, which again, plot hole, but she finds out Bay Harbor Butcher. Then starts putting it together. Oh, maybe there's an inkling of a chance that he might actually be the real killer. She starts listening to Mary fucking Kill, who magically has an episode off of the Bay Harbor Butcher. She goes to find out from Logan, like, yeah, man, there was this weird thing the other day where, Jim found out that his son almost overdosed on drugs and he got pissed and beat the shit out of the guy that gave him the drugs. And she's like, what? I need to go investigate this. I'm like, that's pretty fucking plausible of a
You're
thing.
A shitty cop. You know that? You're a really shitty cop.
Yeah. So she just goes through all of these things, and it's just like, oh my God. Like, and even the pins, like they have to be dropped in her fucking lap to the point where it's like, this is not satisfying. We've had so many people that have earned the right to figure out who Dexter is come this fucking close.
Trace the handwriting, you dumb idiot. Like you're at a police station. the other thing about her little side detective work, opioid crisis. Ketamine is a controlled substance. Florida, other than West Virginia, is the second highest state with overdose rates. So coincidence? Maybe. But I don't know how long a fucking I mean, I've been to the hospital 6 times in the last 4 years. When I get stuck, it goes away in a day or two. These
Well,
fucking corpses had looked like fucking targets on their neck.
which is another plot hole apparently, because I read an article where somebody was disputing that, and this is one of those things where you start to really go down rabbit trails. So I didn't really bring this up, but the thing that she was saying was coincidence. It was very similar. Was this thing called a wheel mark, which is where the skin raises up like a wheel because of an injection. That only happens when the needle barely protrudes and the injection liquid only breaks the first couple layers of skin. And so it makes a little wheel because it hasn't actually got into the blood. It's stuck in the skin. So again, plot hole.
Yeah.
It was like
I
a
mean,
medical examiner called that out or some shit like that.
and
Really quick,
again,
Daniel Skinner, if you guys are still bummed about Dexter, no worries. Peacemaker just dropped. Everything R-rated imaginable. I do want to check that out. Go ahead.
what is
Sorry.
Peacemaker?
Suicide Squad, John Cena. HBO
Oh, that's
Max.
cool. Okay. If that were there's so many different things in this show where it was like, all right, well, if that was the only problem, it would just be a nitpick. But you put all these little rocks together and you have the fucking Alice in Chains video for Stone, and it's just a fucking dragging all these little fucking nitpicks, and it's just like, guys, did any of you work together on this?
Real life does not happen logically or reasonably, but people expect characters on a TV show to be logical and reasonable. The show was fine.
No. I understand and I appreciate. You have a right to an opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not. I didn't mean to say opinion like that. But they based so much of this show on like science, the blood
Forensics.
spatter. There was so much that this show was grounded in
A form of reality.
Right. I mean, even in the last season where Dexter was at the school, he's like, the blood doesn't lie.
I mean,
And-
for fuck's sake, in season 2, they figure out what dock the Bay Harbor Butcher was using because of parasites in the moss that formed inside of the dead body's bags. You
Right,
can't have that
right.
type of logic and say that 2 different types of tranquilizers match up magically in this world.
Yeah. It's a crime drama that is very grounded. I could understand if we're talking about Star Wars and you want to say that well the Force is actually midi-chlorians and that's a fucking sci-fi. This was a very grounded science fiction that really had a lot of informative stuff. Like I wish I had notes handy, but there was people who said like a lot of what's going on here is very grounded in fact, and blood spatter analysis is that's very cutting edge technology here.
Yeah,
But
I mean, looking at a way of blood is and being like, okay, so she was stabbed, she wasn't punched or shot, and she was the way that it's pooling here means that she was still breathing. Like all that stuff is very critical and scientific and out there and specific to where you can't have that type of logic tightness in a show and then play loosey-goosey in the final season.
Right, and it's stuff like that made this show so great, because Dexter was the pro in seasons 1 through 8, where they would go to the crime scene and they'd be like, Dexter, what do you got? And he'd be like, all right, so the victim was hit here. That looks like they had a struggle, and blam, this happened. There was a significant fall here, and it was it was based in some form of logic and scientific research. So they set the table with that. It's not like it's just like well, whatever. whatever drug works. He's going to give people heroin from now on.
Exactly.
And again, no disrespect. No disrespect. You're completely. Nobody's right. I'm not right. You're not right. We're all wrong. We're all
I'm
gonna
right.
die.
No, I'm just kidding. Angela ditches her life's mission with Kurt after his shitty lie when she had DNA. Lets him go. Goes hellbent on Dexter after more reasonable lies with not much evidence. Keeps him. Hated that and how smug she was. She
Yeah,
was
she
not a
was a little
likable character
bitchy
by
at the
the
end
end.
there.
Yeah, she was not likable by the end. That was for sure. And
Yeah, here's
again, it
your
was kind of like
Christmas sweater, dick.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, we were talking about logic leaps and everything like that. I don't even really understand why Dexter kept the one titanium screw that in his fucking
Wow.
house whenever it was burned down. Even if you want to tell, some people said that Kurt probably threw it whenever he was leaving, but I had to watch the scene again. They show him haul ass out of there, and they don't show him throw it. So
Yeah, well,
presumably he had it in his house, and she stood right above it and went, "Oh, the one spot that I stand on. Look what's here."
oh, she found it?
Yeah, she found the screw at his burned down house, and that's where she had just enough to go off of, where she's like, "Oh, the screw that I was mailed is the same screw that I just found at his house that was just burned down.
Oh,
He's
yeah, you
obviously
know
the
what?
killer."
You're right. You're right. I did know that. And somebody else like tore that to shit because they found the fire truck on Kurt's
Mhm.
property. Like like everything about it screamed. It's
Set up.
planted. Everything's
Yeah.
planted. Kurt was at the house on a day before, and they were like, "We're not expecting this guy," and like,
Yeah, randomly.
De-
Here's a fruitcake.
yeah, and then Dexter and
You just
Harrison
pulled me in and accused me of murdering your best friend, but here's a fruitcake.
yeah, and then even Audrey's like, she's like, that was weird, right? Because they just left after Kurt got here. Like,
Mhm.
as a detective, you wouldn't be like, that's kind of strange that Kurt shows up and Dexter and Harrison are fucking rattled. But I'm pretty sure it's because Dexter killed what's his face.
Mhm.
This show needed a couple more episodes.
At least.
It packed way too much too quick.
Yeah, and that was the worry that I had going into the finale, is I was like, there's nothing about this 9 episodes thus far, even the last couple episodes, that feels like it's building to something final. It just feels like it's building towards the end of this season.
Yeah, you said that. You said, dude, they better. This is not. I think it was at the end of either 8 or 9, and it was just like,
Mhm.
this ain't 2 episodes left. They better have something else going on here, because how the
Yeah.
fuck are they going to squeeze all this shit in?
Yeah, and that was the thing. It was just like, come on, like, okay, we killed Kurt Caldwell. We wrapped all that up. Now Harrison knows that, his dad is just like him, and he's learning the code and all of that. And there was even like so there's been a lot of stuff going on, like interviews and podcasts with Clyde Phillips and Scott Reynolds and Michael C. Hall and that here over the past couple of days. And
Mhm.
there was a little video feature that's on YouTube. If you search Dexter New Blood finale, it should be on there, where it shows all of them kind of giving um, context while scenes from the final 10 minutes or so are being played, and kind of giving their
Mhm.
take. We always planned this, and this is the reason we came back. And Clyde Phillips said something along the lines of like, yeah, we thought it was going to be, it makes sense to be here. It's inevitable. He's been training Harrison all year. And I'm like, he's been training him for like 2 fucking days. Like, what do you, what?
all year? And
Yeah.
and he also said that the show takes place for about 2 weeks. It's a 2-week period that the show takes place. What do you mean all year?
Really?
Like apparently the first
didn't know
episode's
that.
like December 1st, and the last episode's like December 25th. Like, what are you talking about all year?
Yeah, I didn't know that. That doesn't make any sense. That's weird.
Yeah, do you remember fall? Do you remember summer? Do you remember spring? No, it was fucking snow, Christmas, Thanksgiving. Was there even Thanksgiving? I don't even know if they had Thanksgiving.
4 super
Clyde
chats
Phillips.
back. What the hell? Guys,
Oh,
you
we
got to
missed
let me
one?
know sooner if I miss something. I can't scroll for an hour. Keep talking. I'm just searching for something. Oh, right there. Dexter is not dead. He had a breastplate with a blood pack and made his getaway
hope
from
so.
the morgue. At least that's
I
how I've
hope so.
convinced myself how it ends.
Yeah.
See, I don't know, because that's the
headcanon for
double-edged
me.
sword. See, that's the problem. That's the problem, is they keep fucking themselves. So, like, as much as I adore season 2 of this show, they fucked themselves by doing that storyline in season 2, because that was the
soon.
obvious final season storyline.
Yeah.
And then you get to season 8, and to me, it would have been very poetic, and it would have been very satisfying for the final season to be Deb turning on Dexter and trying to take him down. after the reveal of season 7, all season long, her learning all this truth and then having to kill LaGuerta. And that's kind of where season 8 feels like it's going for the first 4 episodes, and in not a very good way, but she, pulls the wheel and pulls them off of the highway into that ravine or whatever. And then like the first 5 minutes of the next episode, she's like, I'm good now. My bad. We're good again. I forgive you for everything. And we're buds. And
she
like,
could have even killed Dexter in the end of
fuck?
7. She could have killed Dexter at the end of 7 and been like, LaGuerta, listen, I know everything you have, but he was trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
They
set up
they had
so many. So many.
They had opportunities.
Exactly. So you have that whole thing that they kind of shit the bed with because, we got to kill Deb off screen because she had a blood clot in her head or something that we didn't get to see. And then so they kill that possibility. Then you have the ending that we got where he gives away everything in his life, goes away, does a lumberjack thing, whatever. Which on paper, the self-exile thing I think is a good idea. It's just the way that they executed it was terrible. And then you get to this season. Go ahead.
You bring up season 8 and fucking, why do I keep forgetting his name? Miguel? No, not Miguel.
Batista.
What the fuck? Batista. Why do I keep forgetting Batista's name?
Batista and Quinn see him kill somebody in the finale and don't ever ask anything.
Fucking exactly. Like if I were to receive a phone call like, oh, Dexter's here and we think he's killed somebody. Like, yeah, no, I know. I was in the next room when he did it down here. So he fucking witnessed Dexter kill somebody, but it was okay because, that guy got one of their own. So what, like, how, what? Make up your mind.
Yeah, that was
where is the line here?
Yeah, and that was one of the biggest issues I had with the finale in season 8. I was just like, with all of the shit that's been surrounding Dexter for 8 years and these lingering questions and what happened last season with LaGuerta swearing up and down that it was Dexter and all of you being shocked. He fucking stabs somebody with a pen and walks away casually and presses the alert button like it ain't shit. And you motherfuckers don't even raise an eyebrow. They just look at it. They're like, him and Quinn just look at each other like, that's interesting. And then they never bring it up.
Quinn was on his ass for a season. Like, I think Dexter's fucked up. And I was like, you know what? It's just a pen. I don't blame him.
At the end of season 5, he literally looks at him and he's like, because what happens is the blood drips on Quinn's from
his shoe or something like that.
RoboCop drips his blood on his shoe at Peter Weller. And so it looks like he killed him, and Dexter fudges the blood work to get him out of it. And so the last episode of that season, he's like, hey, appreciate the blood work. Like, letting him know. And that's something they never really expand on. Like, all right, motherfucker. Like, I know I almost had you, but you did me a solid. So we'll turn a blind eye to each other's bullshit.
Your 178 murders to my getting off scot-free. We're even.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
There's so many of these little opportunities. Like, again, you can call it Monday morning quarterbacking all you want, but pre-production takes months. They take weeks upon months upon, figuring out how to, if a movie takes 28 days, a show takes months to figure out, how these stories intertwine, because essentially you're making like fucking 4 or 5 movies worth of content. And it's linear. Again, it's linear. It's not like you're just like, all right, this guy is the killer this week, next week it's this. So they had to have some meetings. Another thing that maybe some fucking coffee guy could have brought up, the best friend of Matt could have been some sort of thing where, like, because he hated Matt, and he was getting fucked up in the bathroom as Matt was banging his girlfriend, like you do in the next room. Like, you could have had you could have had, again, if this were a 12 episode season, you could have had episode 11 be Sheriff asking questions of people around Kurt, and calling in Matt's friend and asking him stuff, and Matt being like, well, I need that check. I don't want to talk because I need that check. And she'd be like, wait, what? And like, or she does that detective work, and like, why are you getting paid $2,000 a week for just existing? What like they had these little morsels where it was like, that's nice if you can if you can use that a little bit further, you can really blow the top off of this thing. But there's just so many moments where it's like, what the fuck? Like the like you said, the billionaire guy. What if he owned the fire, the whatever, the fucking I don't live in a small town where they burn up everything.
The
Where
incinerator.
Incinerator, yeah, where Matt was burned up. What if he owned it and he was questioned and like he had some stories to say or something like that? Like you really could have circled around and made this a mystery while Dexter. I mean, shit, how many times?
I mean, they could have had him working with Kurt to where they were both kind of doing it, but Kurt was the psycho of them, and he was just kind of the one funding the thing or trying to buy, grease some palms. That's what I was saying. They set it up where if they had this guy actually trying to be a character in the show and didn't just disappear 2 episodes in, they could have pulled a nice little surprise in episode 10 to where now that Kurt's dead and he's, presumably left town or whatever, Angela or Audrey could have been fucking with him all season long and just have, maybe one scene every couple episodes where she's doing something against his oil rig business, whatever it was. And then it's revealed in the last episode and he comes and takes Audrey, wanting her to be the next one that Kurt kills to get rid of all this shit. And then Dexter finds out about it as Angela's right on his ass. And like all of that comes to a big fucking head to where now she has physical proof that he's the killer because he's the one saving her fucking daughter and the one who took Kurt off the damn board, but he saved her daughter. And he also solved this thing that she's been fucking failing to solve for 20 years and helped her find the body of her friend, like literally makes her whole and gives her a reason for their story arc to wrap up in a way to where she at least understands him. And you could still have the thing with Batista coming in to where even though he now has done right with his thing, with his dark passenger, he could still get caught somehow or something. Or they could have set up a season 2 with that, with Batista showing up at the end of season 1 or something. Like so many things that as a fan, I'm just like, what the fuck? It's right fucking there. How did you not see it?
Another minor nitpick was when they were at the meeting in New York, Batista kind of flirts with Angela, but then when Angela calls him in the last episode, he's like, I'm a married man. Yeah, like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? Why is that who wrote that? Why is that necessary? Like she'd be calling for a booty call all the way from fucking New York.
So weird. But yeah, that was the big thing, was like if they showed him, I still just don't understand why they showed him. Why are you inserting him into the finale if we're not going to get the payoff? But it's fan disservice, quite literally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally a fucking carrot that gets dangled. I mean, like I said, I want to know how I would honestly feel about the finale with that section removed, because that was the biggest thing that I had a hard time getting over, was when you show me Batista is back, when you show his face, when he sees Dexter alive, when he asks her, when was this taken? And she's like, a month ago. And he grabs the fucking folder of LaGuerta's, either LaGuerta's evidence or the stuff regarding her murder, and says, I'm on the way. He's telling the audience, I'm on the way. I'm on the way, everybody. It's going to happen. And then they don't fucking do anything. The motherfucker's still on the way for all we know. It's just like, how?
And this is why I regret reading stuff, because I had no care about this season. I was going to watch it, but I didn't want to look anything into it. About episode 3, I was looking into it and reading interviews, and Clyde Phillips said people are going to be so surprised and shocked, and
he said it's going to set the internet on fire.
Yeah,
and it did. In the worst possible way.
The worst. Congratulations, buddy, you did it. There was a point. A very minor point, like maybe a half a second, where I thought, what if Batista goes down there and vouches for Dexter and then just takes him back to Miami, and he's like, yeah, all right, don't worry about it. We need you back in Miami. All is forgiven. Let's just because like you said, he loved them so much.
Batista is with Huel in the house still. Remember Huel from Breaking Bad? That was awesome. Did it not feel? Oh, you're out of focus.
Wow.
Did it not feel to you that somebody, be it Michael C. Hall, be it Clyde Phillips, be it Showtime, maybe it was everybody, did it not feel to you that somebody was just desperate to kill the character off and be done so that people can stop asking for more? Like, you
I
got to
don't.
imagine from Michael C. Hall's perspective,
Why would
especially,
it be
how many
Michael C. Hall?
times, huh?
Why would if it were like I don't
Oh
disagree with
no,
you.
I'm not
I don't.
saying it. I'm not saying it was, but I'm just saying, like, even just for an example, you got to imagine probably from Michael C. Hall's perspective, it was probably tiresome for however many years since season 8. How many times he's
Mhm.
probably been asked, "Is Dexter coming back?" It's probably every fucking interview that he does, and any movie he's tried to make afterwards, any TV show he's tried to do afterwards, his
Mhm.
band. They're probably, "Oh yeah, cool. So when's Dexter coming back?" Like, it's
Yeah.
probably been aggravating. That would be the only motivation I could see with him. But did it not feel, with the way that last 15 minutes went, that they did not just, somebody or everybody collectively just wanted to be done? No matter how we get there, we got to make it to where people can't ask anymore.
Possibly. I don't think, because they said they pitched something to Michael C. Hall before, and he was like, "No, I'm not doing that." And again, he's an EP, he's an executive
Apparently that
producer, so
happened a
he
few times. Like, this was the script that got him back, where he was like, "Yes, finally, you got it fucking right." And it was like, really? This one?
Yeah. I don't think, he loses sleep over it. I mean, if he needed a new car or a new house or something, like, all right, fuck it, I'll do it. Because he probably hears about how disappointing that season 8 was. Well, if you're doing this to erase that, guess what, buddy? You're gonna have a really long decade. Uh, I would venture to say that it wasn't him. Maybe Clyde Phillips, because I read again. I read a lot of what Clyde Phillips said, and he's like, I stuck with the show. I kept watching it, and I kept emailing the new showrunners, telling them that this isn't what the character does. Da, 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 this isn't Dexter. Da, da, da. So maybe he yeah.
I hope they emailed him all season long.
Yeah,
M99, bitch, not fucking ketamine.
Yeah. I would assume out of everybody, it'd probably be him. Where Showtime, if these stats are right, Showtime's probably like, hey, so what? 5 more seasons? Can we somehow make it 5 more seasons? Because we fucked up Shameless, so can we do this? I think they painted themselves in a corner where, at least for the sake of Dexter, the neat thing about him was he had like an inside track. He was at the police station, so like he could look at the files and be like, "Oh, this guy got free," or like check the blood work, and he'd be about a step or two ahead of when he fucked up. Where this it was just him just guessing, like, "Oh, I don't know." Let me break this glass here. Oh, I forgot to cover the snow. And I mean, granted, he did have access to the teeny tiny police station, and he was nice to the lady at the front, the receptionist, and gave her a hug when that was so not Dexter, just to get a phone number and an address and shit. Have him work there. Like that could have been a twist. Have have him be like, listen, I'll work part time, and I'll do my sciencey blood spatter analysis shit for you guys, even though there's not much blood shit going on here. I'll help you guys out, because clearly Angela wanted his help for Iris, and then that's how you get him inside the door there, and you can kind of play with it a little bit, but.
I have a theory on this this fucking wall of death that you have in here. I think I could solve it in a week.
I'll be back in a week. This all is empty. Next. Oh, by the way, that podcast girl, add her to this.
Exactly. Now, it's kind of to head towards wrapping up our thoughts. We talked a little bit about it being one note and being way too much, the way that they were making Harrison this angsty teenager. Now, like, just the idea on paper, going off of the assumption that this was the destination in sight the entire time, and this was the first thing that they shot, is there any form of Harrison killing Dexter that works for you? Or is that just a fundamentally flawed idea all on its own?
I had it for a second. When I thought Harrison was like really fucked up, when Dexter told Harrison that Trinity, I took care of him. There was a
I thought
part
the
of me
same thing. I thought he was going to get pissed about it. Like, that was mine.
that right, exactly. There was a part of me that was gonna be like, he's gonna fucking kill him. Like that was mine, you motherfucker. I've been having nightmares about this for 10 years. You took my kill.
Yeah.
So yeah, to answer your question, yes, I certainly thought there was ways you can certainly get behind Harrison killing Dexter for other reasons, or Dexter making a sacrifice for the sake of, and not what we saw, but something, just something. It's Harrison, you need to do this because it's for the better of whatever. I've done bad things, so just take care of me. I killed bad people, and I killed some good people, and just do better than me. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have very many murderers in my family, so
Yeah,
I
I think
can't speak to that.
if that was the end destination in sight before they started writing the season, I think that there was a way to make that work, but it felt like they failed in every way to make it that way. I mean, just fundamentally, it's a big flaw to have this character be so unlikable for most of the season, just to take out the character that we love. Like they keep trying to justify it, like, well, he's a monster, he's a murderer, like this is the only way, he had to be put down. And it's like, it doesn't fucking matter if it's a character that we love.
Yeah.
Walter White was a goddamn monster the whole fucking show, but guess
Yeah.
what? We still rooted for him to a certain extent. And it's the same with Dexter.
Walter White got fucking psycho.
Yeah.
You're goddamn right. Like his ego got huge. Like he was full of himself as that show went on. Dexter was kind of level-headed. Like, all right, this guy needs to die because he's doing bad shit. I mean, shit. 2 weeks to go in the fucking series, they show this creepy clown dude, and it's like, yeah, Dexter, get that motherfucker.
Yeah,
Like,
well, not only that, the episode where they kill Kurt, he's just like, how long have you been doing this? He's like, it's in the hundreds. He's like, so you've saved like thousands of people. And he's like, you can tell he's never really thought of it that way. He's like, yeah, you're right. And like, even you tell the audience that, like, reassure our love for Dexter, like, yeah, this motherfucker has, for the little bit of evil he puts in the world, he makes a lot more good. And it's just like, you can't have that be a fact and reinforce that fact the episode prior just to turn around and expect us to be like, yeah, he had to go. He was too far gone. And again, it's impossible for me to not keep comparing this. If Lindsay ever watches this live stream, she's going to cuss me out the whole time. But Breaking Bad, as bad, like you said, he's going full cycle by the end. Like they make you believe that he needs to go because he's just too far gone. Once Hank dies, it's like, that's it. That was the last thing that needed to happen for him to seal his fucking death warrant. As much as we love the character,
was just getting shredded.
Yeah, he looks Jesse in the eye. I watched Jane die. Like, there's all these things where they're like, it's still the character we're watching the show for, but you've made the journey. You've brought us along to a point where now we accept the fact that he has to go, that he is now the villain of the show. This was a 5-season long origin story for the villain.
Oh, you poisoned the kid, huh? Okay. Good luck in hell, fuckface.
Yeah, exactly. And they never really had that. That's what I'm saying. If they wanted this Dexter New Blood thing to go on that path, they should have had that be something that was a through line through most of this season, where he snaps in the first episode, kills the guy just because he kills a deer, and says, fuck it, I got to feed this thing. And then from then on, he's starting to really slip on the code. He's starting to make a little bit of exceptions here and there where he used to not do that. And he's not the same guy. And he's literally transforming into a bit of a monster. He's kind of becoming his brother in a certain way. There's so many ways that they could have visualized that or put it in the story if they wanted us to go along that path of, by the end of this series, he needs to die, and it makes poetic sense for Harrison to be the one to put the rabid dog down. But that's not what they fucking did.
And something I'm really kind of getting sick of with these creators of the last 15 years, people who create these anti-heroes, and they're getting pissed off that, people are having backlash about their series finale. I remember David Chase saying, people watch Tony Soprano do some terrible things, and they were sad. They didn't want to see him die, but he was a terrible person. First of all, he's a character. It's fiction, and you made us fall in love with him. So what the fuck? Breaking Bad was certainly that was an earned death. Whatever. Dexter, like again. It was like fucking old westerns. Old westerns. They were all fucking bad people. Like they were like Clint Eastwood was a fucking he murdered people, but he was doing it to save the fucking day. So don't give me this high and mighty shit because the crowd fell in love with the character that you made. Oh, do you enjoy your 3 houses and your 6 Ferraris? Because you don't seem to have a problem cashing those checks on morality. So shut the fuck up and just do what you got started with. If you if you have some sort of long-term goal with this thing, like Breaking Bad, it felt like there's no better. Started low, ended at the top. You're not beating that. Nurse Jackie was another one, much smaller scale. She was just into drugs, and they have these holier than thou interviews where they're like, it's kind of a shame that the audience kind of expects us to save these people who are these terrible characters, and it's like
the real shame is that these showrunners and these writers have such a disconnect with their audience.
Right.
Like, how do you not understand how the audience views the character? Do you really think that him being a lumberjack was the fucking problem? What message boards are you looking at? Yeah, what message boards are you looking at that you're getting your info from? Because nobody was pissed. It's like, oh, he's a lumberjack? That's fucking stupid. No, they bitched because the whole final season, you just betrayed everything that you set up for years and threw away the whole plot line with Deb and randomly bring back fucking Miss Blondie and then have her just cook for 6 episodes and not do anything else. And then get fucking Harrison that ages like 4 years and 6 months and takes him to fucking Argentina. And then Dexter doesn't have to have any sense of finality with anything in his character arc that they've been setting up, because he just decides to drive into a CG hurricane and then end up in the middle of this fucking podunk town. And we get no closure with anything, including Miami Metro, that saw him stab somebody in the fucking neck and then didn't ask any questions. So that's the whole problem. And then you get to this season and it's like, well, you guys didn't like the fact that we left him alive in the last season, so we killed him. What's the problem? Yeah. And it's like, you fucking idiot. What are you talking about? And it really just feels like when you listen to those types of interviews and you listen to those snarky ass answers, like, oh, the smart fans understand. It's like, fuck you.
Dude, that's such a turn off.
The fans love this character, and everybody and their mother knows. Yes, there is a certain portion of audience that will not be satisfied with anything. They're going to bitch about whatever you give them.
Right.
Yes, there is a certain portion of that audience that no matter what final answer you give, either he gets the lethal injection from getting fucking caught or he gets shot in the middle of the woods by his punk ass son, that are not going to like the fact that you put a period at the end of the sentence. They always want to have that lingering hope that 3 years from now we can get another one. But
there's also
majority of us.
There's also go ahead. I'm sorry.
There's a vast majority of us that knew for years and years and years and years that it was going to go one of two ways. Either Dexter's going to end up incarcerated for the Bay Harbor Butcher shit, or he's going to get killed in the process of something. But it's the way you fucking get there. Like, there's so many people that are defending it, like, well, he was a killer. This was the only way. It's like, no, it was not the only fucking way. There was like 9 other ways they set up within the same goddamn hour.
Right. Yeah, the same 10-minute period. You're like, you can do all of these different things. To talk about the audiences, there's a very, very small number of audience members that have no business watching shit like this, because I don't know if you knew this, that somebody did copycat shit with not to bring the show to a
Yeah.
screeching halt. Like, some people take fiction a little too seriously, which is another reason to say fuck you to people who create this fiction and say, oh, how could you like such a terrible character? Oh, well, why would you keep making it after somebody emulated what he did? Because that's pretty immoral. And these are the same showrunners that and writers that write these Deus Machina. Fuck, you know what I meant.
Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, yeah. That the Deus Machina, where fucking you had Dokes, the good guy, who is going to save the day, and then it's not Dexter that has to kill him. It's pardon my tits. So it's okay. The good guy gets killed, but it's not by the bad guy. And that doesn't make it better. You're just doing story writing. It doesn't just because we enjoy the story doesn't mean that it fucking makes us horrible people or stupid people. That's insane.
Yeah. That's
Man,
the whole reason you were able to come back for another season years later and fucking cash a giant
Exactly.
check. And
You're
the
welcome.
interviews that he's saying, he's like, all I need to do is hear go from Showtime and I'll be back for season 2. I wonder fucking why.
Yeah.
I wonder
yeah.
why.
Cash. He needs a little cash.
Yeah. Desi, father-son relationship built from the start. Dex teaches him the code. Harrison messed up enough to believe in it. Realizes Dex fits the code. Emotional kill like Dex and Brian. Dex on his own table. See,
That's
even that
sweet.
is a good idea. That again, poetic. That's not the route that they went. But yes, you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Here's
Fade to black.
$5. Gives us $5. Sent an email to Cody Leach Reviews. There's a letter that's been going around that gives ideas for a season 2 and 3. Wanted to hear your thoughts. If Dexter's off the table. So if he's going to be a Harry character, that's the only way you're going to get him. And I have no interest in that. I'm damn sure not interested in anything without Michael C. Hall. So again, if their plans were to maybe set up a Harrison spinoff, which I would have bet money would have been the big announcement on Monday. Apparently it was a fucking Blu-ray. Or it would have been the announcement until they saw Twitter and said, oh shit, never mind. Yeah. Announce the Blu-ray.
Announcement. We got sweaters for sale just in time for Valentine's Day.
Exactly. Lumberjack ending was way better. Don't want season 2. What? I'm fine, baby. Put it down.
Yeah, baby.
Put it down. One more super chat. Billy the Kid, Dexter's a hero. Sorry, not sorry. The whole appeal of Dexter was he's a good killer. Like you said, the good far outweighs the evil. He's the dark defender, and the show needed to go that route, but screw the fans, right?
Well,
see, that's the thing.
He's an anti-hero. He did fuck up every now and again. Like in the beginning of season 3, he killed a guy named Freebo.
Yeah.
or
I think
whatever.
it was season 4. He or maybe it was season 2 where he wanted to kill so badly that he kills somebody that ends up being innocent the very next day when he walks into work.
Oh yeah.
There's obviously been a lot of innocent people that have been killed because of his actions. He fucking annihilated that guy in the first episode of season 5 because he was pissed about Rita.
In the bathroom, he's just and then Harry's like, "This is the first time I've seen you show human emotion." It was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, there's been a couple of people that have been, innocent. Even the guy in the bathroom, he was a horrible fucking human being, so we don't really care if he's innocent or not.
Fuck your dead wife. She can blow me. Like, whoa, bro.
Kill him now. Hello, Dexter Morgan. Kill him now. But yeah, so it just, to me, the obvious route, if you're not going to try to be clever and try to be smarter than the viewers and give us something that we didn't know we wanted, or to give us something that was so far from what we wanted, a la, Cutting to Black and Sopranos. Yeah. If you're going to go that route, there's a big dice roll with that. If you're going to try to be artistic and creative and give something that is going to piss a lot of people off just because you can, whatever. But to me, if I was the showrunner walking into this, I would have known, okay, people love this character passionately. That's the reason why they've been livid about season 8. That's the reason why they've been hounding us for 8-9 years now to come back and fix this. If we get a chance to fix this, we need to give them what they want for the character, which is a satisfying ending, an ending that fits the character arc that we have set up since season 1. Either him dying, doing some good in the process, or him fully going off the rails and taking that bit of a dice roll, or him finally getting caught and owning up to all of the shit that he has done for now 9 seasons. Him getting shot in the middle of the fucking snowy woods by his dickhead son just to be let loose by Queen Detective Smartass.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I have very little respect for creators that like kind of push it off on the fan base, because all right, so the entire horror genre, what, all their fans are just pieces of shit because they enjoy watching some fiction where things happen that you know are despicable in real life. That I don't buy that. The fact that you guys came back to fix something, it was your creation, so you obviously wanted it to go this way. Why would you come back? I mean, you're questioning the audience. So you know what, did you not make a mistake, or are you coming back because you want to do right by the audience, even though you're the person who's writing the material? I mean, shit, I can't tell you how many times I've done shows, usually in the middle of the country, up north. Michigan's really hard to make laugh for some reason, where I would do like a killer bit, and it would just be crickets, and I would be pissed, and I'm like, dude, that fucking kills in New York. What's wrong with you people? But you know, that's not their style. Like I can't get mad. It's you know, all right. So they don't like that material from me. That's fine. It's not like I'm gonna go back to, you know, when I went back to Michigan, I would alter and not tell that joke again. But you know, that's because it's business. You know, if you're here telling stories just for the sake of storytelling, then don't cash the check. And then you can be a bit of a fucking nosy piece of shit telling people what to think. But you're getting paid for this, and you're getting paid more. You got paid again because people wanted something different, and you took the check, you took the job. So shut the fuck up and take the work, and maybe listen to some of the I don't know, suggestions, if you will, from the stupid people.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, you're exactly right. Like when they were writing season 8 and they approved season 8 and they were shooting and editing season 8, like clearly nobody thought that this was going to be a problem. Nobody went, this is going to fucking make everybody livid. Like nobody at Showtime,
Yeah.
Michael C. Hall. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm ignorant to that. Maybe he did say this is going to be fucked up, but I'm contractually obligated to do it, so I can't say shit. I just got to do whatever you write me. Maybe. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people making that season thought they were making some good shit. And then in retrospect, everybody and their mother went, yeah. I've not seen a single person interviewed about season 8 that went, no, people just don't get it. People just don't get it. That was brilliant. Everybody's pretty much like, yeah. Even Michael C. Hall's like, yeah, you know, the fans didn't really care for that. They were left empty. Why? If the sole motivation to come back is to do right by the audience, why fuck them over in the end? That's what I don't understand.
And then
yes, there's a certain
refer them as
percentage.
stupid. Yeah, like what?
And that's the thing. Like if it's you can't have both. You can't come back to do right by the audience and then take this huge artistic liberty with the character and everything that we've known about the character and loved about the character for 8+ years, just to do your own thing and have your ending.
Yeah. The ego should already have been installed and tamed, because you know, you're telling stories. You get paid to tell stories. Like, these are characters that you made, you know, and people love it. That's great. Good for you. You're doing it. But if you're really, you know, stuck to how people feel about the character, don't tell the stories anymore. Don't cash the checks. You're in business now at this point, and you know, you can not tell the stories and have people eat shit, or you can kind of make your money and, you know, do what you got to do to keep getting those checks. So, you know, it's show business.
All right, we got one super chat, and then I have a non-super chat that we need to address really quick. I like New Blood better than season 8, but season 8 definitely had the better ending for me. New Blood was rushed and had sloppy writing. I don't like season 8's ending much better than 9, but I pretty much agree with your statement. And then we have this. Dexter was never a hero. He didn't kill to save people. He killed because he liked it, and fans who think that don't know the character.
That's accurate. He saved the code was to harness that urge.
I take a bit of an issue with the statement. I think that there's some truth and validity to the fact that his urge was always the main motivation for killing. It was not this righteous sense of justice that he tried to really hammer home the last couple episodes with Harrison. Like, they need us. We need to get out of here. The world needs us. However, I think that you're doing a bit of an oversimplification if you say that Dexter didn't care about people. If him looking at a murderer and all the people that he's affected and killed and raped or whatever happened and didn't say, I want to take this guy out to prevent this from happening anymore, I think that you don't understand the character. So I think we're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle is the truth here, to where you're right on paper. His dark passenger was the one pushing him. And if they wanted to go that route in the final season to where his dark passenger is now just pushing him to kill at all costs, doesn't matter if you fit a quarter of the code, we got to get it done. That's true. But I refuse to acknowledge that he had no feelings, no moral character, nothing. Like, there was good motivation to what he was doing.
If
we can argue about the percentage all we want, but there was some.
If there wasn't complete validity in that statement, when he killed an innocent, he wouldn't break down the way he did. Like if he's just killing to kill, what the fuck does it matter that, oh, I got the wrong guy? Like, you know, if he's just killing people to kill people, oh, fuck, I killed somebody who didn't fit the code. You know, that's some form of, rigid structure. It's not just, hey, I'm going to fucking kill somebody today. Did he have fun doing it sometimes? Sure. But, I mean, everybody loves being a bit of an asshole. I mean, when you get confident, when you get arrogant, it's human nature. You love irony. You love people's comeuppance, and the show played into that. But I'm with you, Cody. I agree a little bit with everything. With everything, but I do think that Dexter had some sort of soul to him, and it wasn't completely just for pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like like some sort of metaphor for addiction, no matter what it is, drugs, alcohol, whatever. Like you want it, but you're trying to curb it for certain reasons. Maybe that was a bad metaphor, but he really wanted to kill people, but he wanted to do it a certain way.
To me, he had a moral code. He had feelings. He had love and everything. And for the show to try to tell us that he never did at the end, to me, felt like a slap in the face. I mean, you can go all the way back to a simple example of like season 5, where Aster shows up with her friend, and her friend's getting beat up by her stepdad. And Dexter thinks for even 2 seconds that he's done something with Aster, and he pulls him out of the cop car. He's like, I'm going to fucking kill you. Like, right in front of everybody that he doesn't want to see that side of him. He's like, if you do, I'm going to fucking kill you. You hear me? I'm going to fucking kill you. And that right there, just the thought that maybe this guy has done something bad with his stepdaughter. And he's like, oh no. And so that's season 5. We had 3 seasons after that, plus this whole season, just that whole note that they decided to end on about, I've never felt true love before until now because this kid's going to kill me. It's like, you guys didn't do your homework. You didn't do your homework at all.
Are we close to the end? Just
yeah, we're going to wrap it up at 2.5. So we got about 3 minutes.
Just give me a warning, because I want to ask you something that's been bugging me for a couple of days before we finish it up.
I feel like Dexter killing Logan was where the episode was killed. That made no sense and was not the Dexter character at all. Ruined everything. That's literally the moment where the episode went off the rails for me. Everything before that, I was 100% on board. I was like, damn, I'm on the edge of my seat. Like, I'm tense. Like, they might actually pull this off. It should could have been done a little bit, spaced out a little bit better. But if they land the ship well with the directions that they're setting up, this is going to be pretty fucking satisfying. What just happened? What?
Huh?
What the fuck? And then that was me. Yeah. What, are we stuttering? But anyway, yeah. Your question, and then we'll wrap up our thoughts and get out of here.
Okay. So So we both have Dexter material on YouTube, and I'm currently in the process of putting a video up either tomorrow or Saturday. Something I've learned in my rankings of the seasons is there are not just one, but a handful of people that their favorite Dexter season is season 8. And I saw a couple that said their second favorite season is 6. My question
Were they
to
trolling?
you, I don't know, but my question to you is, are you really a fan of Dexter if season 8 is like the platinum grade for that character for you?
I can entertain somebody. I can entertain somebody defending season 8 for certain elements. I can entertain somebody saying that season 8 is not as bad as people make it out to be. I can even entertain somebody saying that they enjoy to some degree every single season of Dexter. Somebody telling me
Yeah,
that season 8 is the best, as in better than season 4, season 2, season 1, please explain.
yeah,
You
yeah.
have the floor.
Is it the
Please
story?
explain.
Because the character is not the character. The character is nothing
Even the
like the guy we
story is
fell in
all
love
over the
with.
fucking
Oh,
place. I mean, the
I was
brain
trying to,
surgeon,
I
the
was
fucking
trying to
brain
keep it
surgeon, that was
fucking.
captivating. Okay. Miss fucking doctor that comes out of absolutely nowhere that was actually the one that gave the okay,
Oh,
sure, whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Fucking
She was.
setting up 7 seasons of Deb and Dexter as his final confrontation just to have her almost drown them in a fucking river and decide 5 minutes later that she was wrong and we're all good now. I'll forget all the shit that just happened and we'll just be season 5 and 6 Deb and Dexter. Fuck off.
The therapist was the Dexter version of Jason Goes to Hell, the guy that's hunting Jason, and it's like, dude, he's killed 120 people. Are you gonna
Yeah.
start doing something or what? I
Yeah.
taught Harry the code, and now here we are, 400 murders later, and I figured I'd come in now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't understand that. I try to respect everybody's opinion, but I would love to hear that person actually explain why
Yeah,
season
no,
8 or season 6 is their favorite.
I don't
That's
I don't mean like shade. I'm shocked. Like
mhm,
I always say, nobody's right, nobody's wrong. Their opinions, it's whatever. But I'm
mhm.
dying to know what about that speaks to you as yes, this is what Dexter is.
Yeah.
Season 8. When I think of Dexter, I think of season 8. And I just can't get to it. Like when somebody tells me Friday the 13th 5 is their favorite Friday the 13th, I'm like, "Nah, that's not Jason, so I'm having a hard time."
Tits and hits, tits and hits. Hang on one real quick and then we'll wrap it up. Somebody had a comment saying something about a super chat. I had a super chat asking how you all feel about Dexter being Harrison's Harry in a spinoff. I would be pissed because to me it would feel like they did this to try to set that up so that they can milk that for 7 seasons, and I would refuse to watch out of spite. I
I
wouldn't be
would
interested anyway, but I would literally not give it a chance.
I would give that a 50-50 shot if they're going to move forward.
Oh,
Uh,
me too. I said in my review that I would put all my chips on the table that is at least being talked about, if not already confirmed. And whether or not the fan reaction has changed that, we'll see. But
you want to win me back? Have Harrison go the way of Brian. Have him be like a fucked up version of the code, and I don't know. Somebody's got to take him down, and you can have it be. Why do I
Batista,
forget this fuck Batista? Why the fuck do I always forget his name? He was a good kid. What was his name?
yeah,
Harrison. I mean,
Oh man,
you've tried 2, you've done this twice. If you want to keep going with Harrison, do something different. Do something different. Have him. I don't know. Kill only. I don't know. Bad animals or some shit. I don't know. Yeah, the PETA will enjoy that.
So to wrap this up, so we've covered a lot of our thoughts on the show and on
I'm only
Dexter New
halfway
Blood.
done. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. So this is how I want us to end it. I want you to tell me and the audience if Showtime saw this stream and called you and said, okay, what do we do from here? Do we do a
I need
retcon?
50
Do we
grand.
do another season? Do we do a Harrison spinoff? Do we leave it where it is? You make the decision. Where do we go from here to potentially fix this?
Dexter's not dead. Dexter's not dead, and I don't know. They've done like false endings before, like when Dexter was thrown in the trunk for his bachelor party. You can have it be that Sheriff Angela tells Harrison to run off, but she, like you kind of brought up, as a thank you for Iris, she kind of helps Dexter and says, "Listen, one for one here. Thank you for helping me with this, but." We got to go our separate ways there, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
And then have Dexter try to find Harrison or just if the first page would be Dexter's not dead. That's my first page. Find a way to make it work. He's not dead. Whether it be a dream, he had a flash. I mean, they did it 3 or 4 times in this season where he had like a flashback, or not a flashback, but like a vision where he like fucking butted what's his face in the head in the snow. Mm-hmm. Have this just be a 30-minute version of that where he's sitting in this cell and he's just like, oh fuck, whatever. And then just cut right to the Batista showing up like, Dex, what the fuck? What did you get yourself into? And there we go. We're off to the races again. 10 more episodes, or 25.
How do you feel the fan base would respond to a third? Whoops, sorry guys, let's try this again. Do you think that they are so angry at what happened that they would embrace it, or do you feel like everybody would be like, "No, fuck you, fooled me 3 times"? I don't think so.
I think it depends on the nature of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I really think it depends. Like how are you gonna? You killed him this time. How are you gonna fix that?
Yeah, I maybe I'll change my tune. I'm still a little bit too raw from all of this. I think they just need to leave it alone. As much as I would love to know at some point that that's not where we leave Dexter, that's not how he goes out, I just don't trust him to do it again. They fucked up the ending in a grand fashion in season 8. They got everybody's hopes and dreams through the roof for this season, to the point where everybody showed up to watch, apparently, and then gave us the middle finger a second time. I just don't see them fixing it. I just don't see it. I would almost feel insulted as a fan. For as much as I love aspects to what you're saying, because it would give us hope that something else could be better, I would feel insulted as a fan if they said, okay, guys, we heard you loud and clear. We're going to come back and he's going to wake up in the hospital, or he's going to wake up in the fucking jail cell and the last 15 minutes was a dream or something. It would just kind of, I don't know. Maybe when you ask me when my emotions have tempered and I've accepted this as the ending a little bit more, I'll be like, yeah, give it a shot. We'll see. But like right now, I'm just like, no.
Just do a fucking full retcon. Go right back to when Deborah sees him stab what's his cock in the church, and start over from there. And then do that all over again. Have it
Halloween 2018. This shit.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, multiverses are a big thing now. Have it be the multiverse where Dexter and Rita and Harrison are a happy family where they try to work out their weird ways.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's a way that they can make it. There's no way you can make everybody happy. There's no way.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So we'll wrap things up there, guys. But I have put the link to not only CP's channel, but the link that I gave is actually to his season ranking of Dexter. So if you want to see CP rank the 9 seasons of Dexter thus far, please check the video description below and subscribe over there, because he's also working on a ranking of Dexter's adversaries, which will come out when?
I'm a little bit more than halfway done. So if not tomorrow, Saturday or Sunday, I'm driving through it, so I'll be done before Sunday.
Okay. So go ahead.
I'll preface: if we didn't have episode 10, New Blood would have been like an A- for me. I really, really enjoyed this season, and that's how much episode 10 really kind of took it out of me. So when you watch, if you watch my ranking, just remember that.
Yeah, I'm still. There's a couple seasons I need to kind of decide between. Season or New Blood all throughout by the end of it. If it had an incredible ending, that would have been one thing. It probably would have bumped it up a spot or two. It was always mid-level Dexter for me.
Okay.
This ending has dropped that, obviously. But we've got Scream coming tonight. So I'm going to be talking about Scream for the next couple of days. You'll get my review late tonight. We're going to talk about the ranking of all 5 Scream films tomorrow. And on Saturday, presuming that there's going to be enough to talk about, I'll do a spoiler review of the new Scream as well. But on Sunday, you will get my season ranking of Dexter, just like with what CP's doing. And then on next Wednesday, a week from, well, just under a week from today, you'll get my ranking of the Dexter villains. It's not going to be quite the same approach as CP. He's doing adversary, so really anybody that gets in his way. So we might end up with a similar roster of characters, but we're going at it in a different way.
I do a little bit of a preface. I explain the difference between. I mean, I even bring Cody up by name, and I explain the differences between. Like you're going to see some good guys on my list, so it's a nice little chocolate and vanilla. There's a little bit of different taste. If you're a Dexter fan, we offer something different. I'm almost certain of it.
Absolutely. And
did you put up your Scream masks video yet?
No.
Oh.
Scream masks?
Yeah, the ghost face. I thought
ranking the masks.
You said it's all Scream this weekend, so I thought maybe you jump in front of me. I can't even keep a straight face.
Kind of an inside joke there, guys.
Not
but
that inside.
We'll talk once we get off here in a second. But you guys have put a little bit of a fire under my ass. I really like the idea now of me and CP kind of writing our own ending of the show. And maybe we'll reconvene next week and do a live stream or something off of that. So that's an idea I don't have penciled in, but I'm very intrigued by that. So anyway, if you're a Dexter fan, please like and share this video, hit the subscribe button. I also just did a solo, just me talking through the events of the season, a spoiler review of the season. I had my initial I had my initial review, my initial reaction to the finale that's like 30 minutes long. So if you want to hear me bitch some more, there's 2 more videos for you. But thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe here and over at Willis Greedia. Thank you to everybody for the super chats and everybody for joining in. We had a hell of an audience today. And
what was the number?
It was between 500 and 600 most of the show.
God bless.
Yeah, that might be the highest we've ever been.
All right, Dexter, all week, every week.
Yeah, this channel is now a Dexter channel. Isn't that what YouTubers are supposed to do? Anyway, thank you guys so much. We'll see you later.
Toodles, toy poodles.